Let me tell you something, guys. When you need a favor, and always need a favor, just call on Don Tony.
Don Tony? Don Tony? What is this? You can't bring dogs in here.
Oh, that's cool.
Come on now.
Get fired, eh?
Hey, well, that's this man. Oh,
hey, how you doing now? Look at this, boys.
Ronnie, guys. Four on four, baby.
What's the
handicap tonight?
What's the difference between you and Acme?
I don't know. What is it?
Acme usually comes on a kid's face after they're 12.
That was terrible and distasteful.
Hey,
somebody asked for a favor, because we give favors out.
Right here.
You know,
Right here, asked for a favor.
Somebody thought your name was Vinny, you know that? Let's go. Say a little Karma.
There's this Karma and the dog.
As a matter of fact, why don't you just urine on his face, Karma?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Let's not get it. All right.
Hey, you're asking for a favor?
Yeah, I'm asking for a favor right here.
We know each other for a while.
That's true. Listen, we need one guy. Richie Tyler couldn't make it. It's 4 on 3. We have an 8-man elimination match tonight. And we need one more guy. And, asking for a favor from Don Tony.
Well, we got the guy for you right here, straight from Brooklyn. Since he's coming to watch my back, because we got a bunch of juice heads running around thinking they're going to cost me the title, we don't lend you here. We don't match. It's got nothing to do anyway. I'll tell you something. Don't embarrass him, especially you with the makeup on. Don't embarrass him, slap the makeup on your face. Right? As long as you give us the respect we deserve, respect the Don, we won't have no problems. Mess things up with saying come on after, right? Come on,
any words?
Next time, please do something about your hair when you're in the presence of us Guinness.
Hey, that takes me about an hour and a half to... all right, there you have it.
Yeah, get fired.
You'll be all right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Nice back to a 4 on 4, baby.
Come on, Carmella.
There you have it, folks. Jerry Fitzwater here. Let's get back to ringside.
Friday night. That means it's time for the Don Tony Show.
You've waited all week, and now it's finally here. Get Don Tony's perspective on current affairs in the world of pro wrestling and beyond.
And now, your host, the man, the legend, Don Tony.
I don't know if I look like Sami Zayn or if I look like Elaine from Seinfeld. Hey, at least I show my face and embarrass myself. We could have fun. Christian taking on Angélico. Honestly, does anybody really care about this match? I don't know. We just finished SmackDown. By the way, good evening, everyone. Don Tony here. It is the Don Tony Show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I look awfully bright and white today. Not as white as this shirt, obviously, but wearing the Mets hat, show a little support for my favorite team. Doing pretty good right now. Doing pretty good. Still pissed off at Major League Baseball for pulling out of Atlanta with the All-Star game, but hey, you know what? We got to worry about La Nostra Familia. We only care about all of us. You, me, the family. Hell with everyone else, right? I want to thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to my friends and family who are live with me right now. Tonight's episode is going to be simple. 3 or 4 topics. We'll do a little live watch-along of AEW as we go along. Now, the cool thing about tonight is as soon as AEW goes off the air, as will me. So this episode will be, give or take a minute or 2 hours. Be done. During the show, I will give you my thoughts on tonight's SmackDown. SmackDown, you could summarize it into 3 segments for the most part. Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Rey Mysterio. We'll talk about that tonight. I tell you, I know WWE keeps falling back on a couple of phrases that they have to do every single week, because they test it online. They see the kind of reaction it gets, and they just go overboard with it. But I got to be honest with you, man. Roman Reigns tonight, that promo that he cut in the locker room with Jimmy Uso, I mean, getting loud and angry and passionate. Let me tell you something. That is very, very, very rare to have Roman Reigns cut a promo in that type of attitude and tone and everything. In fact, I'm not going to lie, man. I disliked Roman Reigns for many, many, many years. But I still acknowledged him. No, I still paid attention. And I think those type of promos, like what he did tonight, talking about how it's, you know, this is for us, for this is our livelihood, and just getting angry. I probably could count it on my two hands how many times he's done that in his career. Very, very rare. You know what I do like about Roman Reigns in this storyline? Something much different than a lot of storylines similar in years past. Whether it's family, whether it's teammates, whether it's factions. Usually when you have one person manipulating someone else, usually WWE and WWF would always do pretty much the same thing. Once the person who has been manipulated leaves the room, then the person who is doing the manipulating always seems to have this evil but sinister smile on their face. Like, just like, be like, you know, like we've seen it 9 times out of 10. Roman Reigns shows no sign of, let me put it like this. A lot of storylines in the past, the wrestlers know they're manipulating, and they know they're playing with people's heads, and they smile when they know that they're, you know, really fooling someone, getting someone over, or getting one over on them. Roman Reigns doesn't do that, because in the storyline, Roman Reigns truly believes what he's saying. Sometimes you manipulate someone, you know what you're doing is incorrect, untrue, and immoral. But in the case of the Roman Reigns storyline, Roman Reigns truly believes what he says. That makes him a narcissist. You know, and it's funny because, you know, in recent months, you know, I've had a few of you out there that don't even know each other, you know, bring into my attention, you know, a few people out there, you know, on social media that are truly narcissists. I mean, it's sick. You know, I would use a different term in the past, but I kind of offended some people who were diagnosed with that medical condition. But there's a lot of narcissists out there. And I'm telling you, this is something else. Benjamin, Eddie Valentino, Sylvia Biggs, Mike New York, Ken Terminated by DQ, Austin Nance, Harris B, Psycho, Daniel San, and a bunch of others who are chatting right now. You know, the one thing about a lot of these people is, you know, they truly believe that what they're saying is actually true. And you look at some people out there, and they don't even realize what they're actually doing. And with the Roman Reigns storyline, I truly believe this. I know this sounds nuts, and I know this sounds tremendously far-fetched, but I'm telling you all, I really believe the Roman Reigns character right now, it's not necessarily just about power and livelihood. I think Roman Reigns represents a huge chunk of these narcissists on social media, you know, that they believe in their own shit. They create this persona about themselves that people actually buy into and believe, and they start believing that it's true. I mean, I have disassociated myself over the years with tons and tons of people that none of you even ever met, because they create this persona online. And it first started a long time ago with Facebook, way before Twitter. And then they start believing the stories that they tell. And when you start believing it and you see the reaction it gets, you actually start convincing yourself that you're actually that person. And then you double down, and then you ante, double ante, triple ante. And then it gets out of control. So a lot of you yesterday got a good laugh about people who will make tragic excuses or superheroic things that they say and do. And it's all a lie. It's just to acknowledge me. And that craving to have the center of attention on you. If someone around you starts taking that attention away or threatens you, even indirectly, not intentional, but indirectly, could be a threat to your attention, to your status, then you totally lose it. And I really believe if you look at the Roman Reigns character and how insanely jealous and triggered he gets because Jimmy Uso just wants to team up with his brother. And by the way, Christian just beat Angélico. Honestly, pretty much a gaga match, your typical match. Okay, Jack Evans just hit the ring, tried to attack Christian. Christian is beating on Jack Evans. Matt Hardy was behind Christian and just hit him with the twist of fate. Matt Hardy draped over Christian. Christian is laid out in the middle of the ring. Matt Hardy with a nice blue suit, red shirt. And I don't know what Jack Evans is actually, or Angélico is actually asking Matt Hardy to do. Matt Hardy is picking up Angélico. He was going to do the leech. Oh, he's saved by Jungle Boy. Oh, how nice. Oh, big fucking deal. Just think about that. No disrespect. Please, no disrespect intended. Wait, was that Jungle Boy or was that Marco Stunt? Oh, it was Jungle Boy. For a minute, I thought it was Marco Stunt. Just think about this for a minute. Jack Evans and Angélico and Matt Hardy ran out of Dodge, out of the ring, because Jungle Boy entered the ring. Just think about that suspension of disbelief for a minute. 3 professional wrestlers and Jungle Boy, and they run out of Dodge. No plastic bat, no crowbar, no 2x4, no candlestick. He hits the ring, and all 3 of them run away. Nathan, Rita, what's going on? But I'm telling you, man, that Roman Reigns character reflects social media more than you know. More than you know. The only difference is sooner or later, people get outed. They cry wolf too many times. They create too many heroic efforts. There's a few people out there, my God, the stuff that they put out there, it's crazy. A Roman Reigns character is a lot. I'm telling you, it's a reflection of social media and how narcissist people get. And a lot of you seem to agree with that. And, like I said, the big problem, and I know we always bring this up because it does reflect society as well. That statement about misery loving company is so true. It is so true. There are people out there that know the people that they socialize online are 100% frauds. But do you want to be alone and deal with honest people? Or do you want to be part of a big clique and just look at the other way and just write it off that, oh, the person is depressed. The person is this, the person is that. And that's why they keep putting on. But I loved Roman Reigns' promo with Jimmy Uso in the back. And again, no smirk on Roman Reigns' face. Truly believed what he was saying to Jimmy Uso to be true. Now, how do I feel about Rey Mysterio taking on Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell? We just praised the crap out of Roman Reigns. Here's where I knock it. If you have paid close attention, and you and I have been talking about it for about 6 to 8 months now, Roman Reigns' entire heavyweight title reign has been smoke and mirrors. No one out there in their wildest dreams ever believed that Jey Uso was going to beat Roman Reigns for that championship. No one in their wildest dreams ever thought Kevin Owens was going to beat him for that championship. We're getting out of COVID. We're about to get live fans back. Nobody in their wildest dreams ever thought that Cesaro was going to beat Roman Reigns for that championship. WrestleMania, Edge, Daniel Bryan. Most people out there, even though the promos were epic by Edge and Daniel Bryan, but mostly everyone out there thought, no way is Roman Reigns, going to lose that belt. So you look at his entire championship run. There has never been a feud yet where you truly felt, I could see it go one way or the other. So Rey Mysterio I wouldn't be surprised next week if the title is not even on the line. Maybe it's just a street fight. Maybe it's just a brawl that Rey Mysterio could care less about the title. Although in storyline, he should. He should. Even if Rey doesn't want the belt. In storyline, Rey should say, I don't want the belt. But you know what? I know if I take that away from you, you see where I'm going with that? But again, this does not feel like any threat to Roman Reigns' championship. Now, once we get live fans back, if they decide to go Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, which I don't even know if it's going to happen yet. You say it long enough, it'll happen. Big E obviously as well. You get towards SummerSlam, even if he takes on John Cena, I don't know if John Cena, could actually take the title off of Roman. I don't know if people would even buy into that. Cena obviously Hall of Famer, and look at his resume. But you always think in the back of your mind, he's going to do Fast and the Furious 19. Tony Schiavone in the ring, which means another goddamn announcement. Debut next week. Andrade, maybe? Eric Solo, QT Marshall. Cody. Dynamite debut. Brock Anderson, the son of Arn Anderson. Look, man, you know how it is in 2021. We don't mean it personal, but people will take it personal. Who gives a flying fuck to see this Solo and Who Dat versus Cody and someone's son that should not be on Dynamite yet? Seriously, come on, man. Let them. Let them. You know what pisses me off about something like that? Seriously, being honest here. You have AEW Dark. You have AEW Elevation. Soon you're going to have AEW Rampage. Why do you put these... I've seen his son before. His son looks like a cross of maybe Arn Anderson and Eddie Gilbert. Is that a good cross? I'm not disrespecting his son. All I'm saying is introduce this on Rampage, Elevation. Get it on there. Get some momentum. Then you put it on Dynamite. He actually, he kind of looks a little bit like Kurt Hennig as well. Yeah, it's a big moment for Arn Anderson. It's a big moment for Cody. But for us wrestling fans that want to see primetime television, this isn't a big moment for us. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling this at all. And you know me, I'm a big supporter of AEW. But I tell it like it is. I express my opinion. And what I say is just opinions. You could agree with me. You could disagree with me. But, I'm not going to gush and overly put things over simply to get extra followers or likes or support. I'd rather be straight up with all of you out there. I think I'm very fair. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. The live crowd will be respectful. They're all hardcore AEW fans. They're going to be polite to Arn Anderson and Cody and his son. But this is not, you're going to waste 10 minutes on a segment now. What's going to happen? Who Dat is going to come out now. Nobody gives a shit about. Blue-haired Solo, whatever his name is, hand job Solo. He's going to come out. Nobody gives a shit. You'll probably, there we go. There we go. Here's Who Dat, QT. Nobody gives a shit. Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. Seriously. So Lone Wolf says Brock Lesnar said, oh, let's get this out of the way now. Let's get it out of the way now. People are making a huge, big deal about this. Let me explain what happened today on SmackDown. When Bayley came out for her ding dong hello segment with Seth Rollins, this is what appeared on the screen. See it? Brock Lesnar's name. Let me explain to everyone how this works behind the scenes in production in WWE. They have a board. It might be a virtual board. They may actually use a keypad. And all the wrestlers are listed in alphabetical order. And all that simply happened is that right near Bayley's name is Brock Lesnar's. Could have been right this way. Could have been right underneath her. But whoever it was inadvertently pressed the wrong button. That's all that happened. And if you look at it, it still shows Brock as the WWE champion. Remember, SmackDown has a Universal title. And they still have him with Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar's status has not been updated since he left. So that's all it was, everyone. And meanwhile, Who Dat is still talking. He's still fucking talking. You know, last week I honestly thought that they were going to get 700,000 viewers. They did 462. No Memorial Day. No excuses whatsoever. You call it like it is. Basically, yeah, tease a strap match now. Yeah, he's going to just run away because we ain't getting no strap match. Yeah, just this is to pump up the live crowd, but you know we're not getting that. So, oh, he slapped Arn Anderson in the back. Oh, yeah, and oh, my God. You know, where was Junior Anderson every time Arn Anderson got his ass handed to him on TV in recent months? Big pull apart, nobody cares. Look, 4 referees out there already. I'm going to fart. Oh, my God. Let them go. You're going to hear the crowd. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them fight. Brock Anderson. Get out of here, man. Seriously. Oh, yeah, more people in the back. Cutler, as Jim Cornette says. More office people. Look, man, AEW, I enjoy the product. And I enjoy the product a hell of a lot more than I enjoy Raw. And there are times where I like it more than SmackDown or NXT, and there are times that I don't. But there's no question that you see the favoritism about some people and how they're overly inflated. 462,000 viewers. You know what that comes down to? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's not that, oh, you know, it's the summertime now and people are going away. It just comes down to that the hardcore AEW fans, almost half of them, decided it was not must-see TV enough that they needed to tune in at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. I believe all of them watched AEW during the week. I believe all of them watched it on some streaming media service, but even the DVR numbers were pathetic. So that's what it comes down to. You know, I always bring up ECW, and yes, it's 20-some-odd years ago, and in fact, my most hardcore allegiance to them was around 1995 when it aired at 2 a.m. on the MSG network, which ended up being Prime here in New York. And it didn't matter. Even though the matches, we knew the spoilers because nothing was live. We knew the spoilers from the reports, the hotline, and, you know, everywhere else for a couple of days, a week, 2 weeks leading up to it. But I still made it my business to set my alarm clock to 10 minutes before 2 a.m. every Saturday night to get up to watch it live. And then after it was done, I tried to go back to sleep or I watched something else. Last Friday, almost half of the hardcore AEW fans did not feel they needed to see it live first run. That is where your advertising money is. When people out there say that ratings don't matter, maybe for their own private viewing, but ratings absolutely matter, especially when it comes to TV deals and negotiating. I mean, look at AEW being moved to TBS. I mean, let's be honest. That's not being done solely because sports is going to preempt it in playoffs and stuff like that. They feel it's a better fit there. And, let me put it this way. If TBS was such a better fit for pro wrestling, then why is Rampage going to still be on TNT? Just saying. Danielson, he's going. Where's he going? Is he going to AEW? Oh no, he's going to MLW, I believe, at the former ECW arena. Have a great time, man. Have a great time. I actually had a few people ask me if I was going to go. It's a little difficult because a lot of my homeboys here, like I said, they're hardcore wrestling fans, but they don't invest the time to watch MLW or NW. Oh, and listen, another reason why I despise the Discord page that I run half of because of Patreon. Because what I've noticed on that page, for the last 6 months especially, is that people want to have conversation so bad that they'll keep posting fake news just so they could talk about it. And somebody posted about the Braun Strowman situation. And me politely, I just said fake news. All right? And you know what this person actually had the audacity to write? I'll wait until it's proven false. That's ass fucking backwards. Then the NWA pay-per-view buy rate. A report comes out that they only did 450 buys. Not 1,000, not 4,500, 450. I could tell you with almost 100% certainty that it's not only 450 buys. It was one chunk of one certain demographic, certain region, and overall, all the numbers are not in yet. And that was a premature, and that was a number that should have, that number is as bad. Remember last week what I joked about? And look, I'm a supporter of Meltzer. I subscribe to his newsletter. I will never forget what he did for me for the Conan Drive and the generosity for the Chris Candido Memorial Show and the money that we raised there. I'll never forget how generous he was with that. But last week, he actually put in his newsletter that the week before his AEW Dynamite on a Friday night, that piss poor 500,000 number, he said that 1.2 or 1.1 million viewers stopped by and watched AEW for at least 1 minute. Just think about that for a minute. This guy's actually reporting that 1,100,000 fans stopped by and watched for 1 minute. That's like if I'm in a fucking bar and look, the rating sucked. That's like me walking into a bar and I look like what some of these podcasters, God forbid if they ever reveal their faces, and let me tell you something. I see some of you out there, getting in touch with certain people. Oh my God, we're going to get together. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Let's all get together. 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell you yes until a week or two before. None of you out there are going to see all the usual suspects out there that hide. But that's like me in a bar looking like one of these goofs, and a hot chick walks by and she looks at me for 1 second. Just for 1 second. She walks by and she's walking, and then she looks the other way. And I go to all of my friends, she looked at me. She stopped by, she looked at me. She looked at me. How's about the fact that all of these 700,000 people decided, the minute that I saw her wasn't enough for me to want to continue watching more. How is that a good number? Just think about that for a minute. I mean, that's like you have a stream and you get a little advertising and a whole bunch of people click just to see what the stream is all about. And then they're like, I don't want to see that. But, 5,000 people stopped by. It's ridiculous, man. Yes, VJ. She acknowledged me. By the way, who was it? KD? Somebody. Hold on a second. I got to give a shout out to somebody. Hold on. I got to welcome somebody to the family. Who was it? I think it's KD. I think KD. Welcome to the family, my friend. I will make it official as soon as the show is over. I think it is KD. Let me see. Let me go back. I think I have it. I don't have it. I think it's KD, though. But welcome to the family, everyone. Couple of super chats, if you don't mind. Meanwhile, right now you have the Young Bucks and Eddie Kingston in the the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler in the ring taking on Pac, Penta, and Eddie Kingston. First of all, if I'm the betting man, Brandon Cutler takes the pin. Eddie Kingston is my bet to actually pin him. This is, with the exception of Christian and Angélico, this is the same thing that we see on every Dynamite with the Young Bucks. We talked about it last week. They'll take on Rey Fenix and Pac. Then they'll take on Rey Fenix and Penta. Then they'll take on Penta and Pac. Then they'll take on Penta and Kingston. And now Penta, Kingston, and Pac. It's just a variation. The matches are phenomenal. It's fun. It's fun. But to me, it's like when I used to go to indie wrestling events, even when I was a kid in the 80s, and like the main event would be, I don't know, Tito Santana versus, I want to think of somebody pretty damn good. Tito Santana versus heel high flyer. Oh, shit. Tito Santana versus, what's a good high flyer from the mid-'80s that was a heel? We really didn't have many high flyer. I mean, it wouldn't be Macho Man Randy Savage. Macho Man Randy Savage would only be for the Garden. I'm talking about for local indie groups. Greg Valentine's okay. All right. Greg Valentine versus Tito Santana. Believe it or not, everyone, look, we're in 2021, so obviously nobody's thinking about Greg Valentine and what he used to do or even Tito. But let me tell you something. In the mid-'80s, those guys could go. And when you would have a local indie show and they would be on it, they would get 15, 20 minutes to go, and they would have top quality matches. But let me tell you something. I mean, unless one of those two guys was one of your all-time favorites that you can never get sick of watching them, if you week after week after week went to local indie shows and they were pitted against each other for the most part every single week, you get pretty tired of it quickly. Give me 1 second. It's getting hot in here. Temperature went down today, but it's still hot in here. Kelly Rosa, good evening, Kelly. Sandman Sizzle. Eddie Valentino. Yes, they had some great matches, man. But, like the Young Bucks, they're not one of my huge favorites, but I enjoy them. Yeah, Terry Funk was my favorite wrestler of all time and still is, and he would be the exception where I would watch him every single week, wouldn't matter. And I know there's a lot of you out there that feel that same way about the Young Bucks. A lot of you are being introduced to Eddie Kingston very late in his career. So I've been spoiled watching Eddie Kingston for almost a little less than 2 decades, decade and a half. But every single week, you have the same formula. It's the same formula. They have a high-flying match, crazy-ass spots, a lot of reversals. Everybody gets their finisher put in. But in the end, right now, the Young Bucks normally would always go out on top. But now this trios match is simply designed because Cutler is probably going to eat the pin. I don't see one of the Young Bucks being pinned here. And it's fun. But this chops off 20 minutes of a 2-hour show. So, I'm enjoying the match. It's a hell of a lot of fun. To me, this is more of what you would see on an indie show. This would be an indie wrestling main event, and fans would love it. You see it every single week. Just one person added here, one person added there. You get kind of sick of it after a little while. And meanwhile, weeks are just going by and weeks are just going by. And suddenly Jon Moxley seems to have almost no storyline. All right, here's Pac just hit a low kick to Brandon Cutler. Eddie Kingston in with the hot tag, taking out all members of Team Buck. We have Nick Jackson just suplexed by Eddie Kingston. Matt Jackson dives off the top rope, greeted by Eddie Kingston, fall away suplex. Now we have Eddie Kingston. Penta wants to be tagged in. He tags in. Oh, and here come the Young Bucks. They go back into the middle of the ring so they can both be splashed. They both get up at the same time. Here is going to be the super kick that's going to accidentally hit Cutler. Thank you. They're going to turn around, and Penta's going to end up knocking him out of the ring. And then we're going to have the finisher. There we go. Another Canadian destroyer. The Young Bucks are being laid. You could see this a mile away. Watch the match back as I'm calling this, because I'm doing this one step ahead. Yeah, Nick's just watching Penta go like this, and he's just standing there just waiting. Brandon Cutler, oh, now, there we go, miss again. There you go, Brandon Cutler. Yeah, that's okay. You're still going to get fucked up, Brandon Cutler. Ah, there you go. Oh, man. And it's predictable. Wow. Oh, you see Cutler broke up the 2 count. Cutler is going to be the one eating the pin. You realize that this match was simply designed for the Young Bucks to get a loss, for somebody to get a win on them, but they have Brandon Cutler eat the pin instead of one of the members of the Young Bucks. Now, I am rolling the dice here. It would kind of suck if I end up being wrong. I don't think the Young Bucks are overrated, Kelly. I really believe the Young Bucks are one of the top tag teams in the world. No denying it. But the problem is, it's so one-sided right now. You know, you pull these 6-man matches, you put clusterfucks, and you look at this. Look at the referee. Not enforcing anything. He just, with his arms, like he's got some type of disorder over here. It's just so pretty. Here goes Penta. He's gonna get. Well, you go. Watch. Yeah, he kicked Matt Jackson, but watch what happens. You're gonna see a reversal, and he's gonna get laid out on his ass. Watch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, Brandon Cutler is about to be pinned. Everybody. Pac has got to do a crazy ass dive now. He's got to do his Broken Arrow. Falcon Arrow. Oh, 450 splash. Nice. He's got the submission move on Nick Jackson. Okay, where's Matt Jackson to kick him in the head? There you go. There you go. It's so predictable, one fall. It's so predictable. Pac is going to look. You can probably have a close-up on Pac with the evil look on his face. That's it. Now they're going to be taking out the Young Bucks, and then Cutler will be the one. Eddie Kingston is begging, please let him do the move. 2 tope suicidas. They look nice, actually. Eddie Kingston and Pac with 2 nice tope suicidas. Not the Red Velvet type. Pac back in the ring. Looking the other way. Schoolboy. For a 2 count. Don't worry, everyone. I still believe that Cutler will eat the pin. That's the only reason why they're even doing this match. Okay, the Young Bucks are about to take Pac out, which means Penta should be hitting that ring any moment. Any moment. Nick Jackson tags in Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler, yeah, miss. Nobody in the pool. Here's Eddie Kingston. Pac looking to pin him. Wow, I thought Eddie Kingston was going to get the pin, but Cutler eats the pin. And guess what? The Young Bucks will now probably be very angry at Brandon Cutler. And who knows, maybe they'll double super kick Brandon Cutler. I don't know if they'll do it. Now, look at this shit, everybody. The Good Brothers just hit the ring, and they're attacking Penta and Pac. Here comes... Is that Moxley? Oh, no, that's Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian. Oh, you see Doc Gallows holding on to the ropes like, hurry, clothesline me. Yeah, now they're going to take out Cutler. I'm so predictable, man. So predictable. Where is Moxley, by the way? See, I have a problem now with something. Gallows and Anderson just got involved. They're wrestling at Against All Odds this weekend. I don't know if you heard. I touched on it yesterday, and I wasn't sure all the details yet, so I needed to look into it further. But it ends up that Moose is going to take on Kenny Omega for the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Championship at Daly's Place. So now, there's no live crowd at Daly's Place Saturday. Tonight is the live crowd. So a lot of people believe one of two things. Either, number one, Moose is going to take on Kenny Omega in an empty building, or the quote-unquote fans around ringside, if you know what I'm talking about. Or it's going to take place later tonight. And if it took place later tonight, there are going to be spoilers all over the place of that match. So I'm really confused what the purpose was. Now, some people thought that because Against All Odds is going to be taking place, nowhere near Florida, that you don't want some of the Impact Wrestling crew on Dynamite or Kenny Omega and then have to make the trek for Against All Odds. But you just had Gallows and Anderson live on Dynamite, and they are taking on Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer at Against All Odds. That match is taking place at the pay-per-view, not at Daly's Place. So if Gallows and Anderson could appear on Dynamite today and then later this weekend appear at Against All Odds at a different location, what is the purpose of having Kenny Omega versus Moose at Daly's Place? I just think that's just an ass backwards move. I mean, we have dissected the relationship with AEW and Impact Wrestling since December. It hasn't helped in the ratings. In fact, last week's rating was so bad. I haven't gotten the exact number, but from what I was told, it's less than 130,000 viewers. I mean, that is pathetic. Kenny Omega is the heavyweight champion. The guy can't even break $150 in the numbers. Some of the weeks it was $110. I mean, just think about how horrendous that number is. They stopped reporting it because it's so embarrassing. And the usual suspects. Remember, before Showbuzz Daily went offline, there were 2 weeks worth of Impact ratings that I put here for all of you that no one else was reporting. Why was that? And I know some of you out there called out Meltzer and Keller and some of the other people out there, and they just ignored all of you out there. And, that's how embarrassed they were of that number. They got ratings last Thursday for other shows on cable that only got 130, 140,000 viewers. Why did they not give you the Impact number? So I don't understand the logic of this, because Impact Wrestling, you have Tony Khan buying advertising. So Impact Wrestling should be pissed off that Tony Khan shows up on their advertising. Impact Wrestling should be pissed off that an AEW superstar has their championship. Remember, Sami Callihan and all of them, you got something that belongs to us. Remember all that shit on social media? So why would Scott D'Amore do a segment and agree to have the title defended at Daly's Place? And don't give me, well, Tony Khan made the ultimatum that if it's not at Daly's Place, they're not defending the championship. All you would have to do in storyline is Scott D'Amore says, if you don't show up at our pay-per-view Saturday, you're stripped of the championship. The Pinnacle are actually coming out now. They're coming out. Look, as much of the complaints that I make about AEW, though, Friday night is not their normal time slot. And look, 462 last week is a horrible number. No question. There's no people making excuses for it. That's the problem that AEW has. There are people out there that are too afraid to just tell AEW sometimes, that's not good, that's not good, that's a mistake, this kind of sucks. They don't want to. How many people out there get the opportunity to mingle a little bit on social media with people in AEW? You see how they only do it, but you don't see them doing it in other promotions. You don't see them getting to mingle a little bit here and there with MLW or Ring of Honor or WWE or NWA. You don't see it. AEW is that one promotion that I told you 3 years ago it's going to be the first millennial promotion, and I personally think that it is. You know, so people out there, it's just like what I said before about the narcissists on social media. There are people out there that will lie about some horrendous, tragic shit that is not true. It's not true. And people go along with it because they'd rather be part of a clique, a group of people that converse online, than to actually out people for just doing egregious things on social media. People do that with these wrestling promotions as well. They will tell you everything is epic, unbelievable. I can only imagine what some of these people are writing so far about tonight's Dynamite. So, right now, the Pinnacle are responding to the Inner Circle's promo last week. And you have Sean Spears cutting a promo on Sammy Guevara. You know, the usual, you know, accept the challenge, you know, we will destroy you. I mean, it's not a bad promo, but usual what you would expect from these guys. I want to share this with you. I'll talk about it in detail with Mish on Monday because I think we'll have some fun conversation about it. And there might be more names added to this. WWE is allowing some of their wrestlers to appear on Cameo for a limited time. Now, if you pay close attention on Cameo, there are some NXT wrestlers that are still on Cameo that never left Cameo and have accepted bookings there, you know, to do videos. So, you know, I don't know what the procedure is with NXT, but as far as WWE goes, they're allowing some of their wrestlers to appear on Cameo, and this is going to be done to hype up Hell in a Cell. So from June 11th, which is today, from June 11th to June 20th, you have the opportunity to book a cameo with some various WWE superstars. I'm going to read you the list that came out today with the prices. And like I said, we'll talk about it more on Monday because I'm trying to get other names and prices that might be added to this. And we'll reveal if we would seriously pay the kind of money that they're asking for some of these stars. MJF is saying he's tired of people saying that he has something to prove. He talks about being so young and where he is at this stage. It's pressure. And he's now addressing Chris Jericho. He's watched every match. Chris Jericho, he's idolized Chris Jericho. He's bringing up 2019. Double or Nothing rally. He walked to the back. At the rally in 2019 for Jacksonville, when MJF was finished talking and he walked to the back, Chris Jericho passed him, power walking, and here comes Chris Jericho. And he said it should have been a great dream come true. and he couldn't figure out why it wasn't a dream come true. He spent all his time idolizing Jericho. He thought he was going to be a larger-than-life person, figure. Not even remotely on his level. He's already beaten Jericho twice. He's got nothing to prove to the fans, and he has nothing to prove to Jericho. Okay. So we got pretty much what the consensus is with that. So anyway, here's the cameo prices. Alexa Bliss, $600. Seth Rollins, $600. Bobby Lashley, $450. Drew McIntyre, $450. Rhea Ripley, $350. Cesaro, $350. Kevin Owens, $500. Sami Zayn, $350. Shawn Michaels, $750. Bianca Belair, $400. Rey Mysterio, $500. Nia Jax, $350. And Charlotte Flair, $500. You know, look, Shawn Michaels, one of the greatest of all time, Hall of Famer, absolutely beloved, you know, just everything Shawn Michaels is, you know, he is one of the greatest. And while I'm saying that, the Inner Circle are outside by the Pinnacle's limo. They got sledgehammers, and they are trashing the windshield. The Pinnacle are just looking in the ring, disgust. Now we got spray paint. Is there license plates? Well, there are no plates in the front of Florida cars. There's probably going to, I don't know if they'll show the back of the car. Is there a plate there? I don't see a plate. I don't run the plates, even though I could. Okay, they just slashed the tires. Set it on fire, man. Fire! Fire! Set it on fire. I don't see a plate, right? That means it's a junk car. It's a junk car. Set it on fire. Come on. See, no plate. See, even before they went to the back of the car, you could see that a mile away. This is a junk car. They took the limo and they replaced it with a junk car. All right, now you got to set it on fire. They're spray painting El Barto. Oh, here comes Jake Hager. He's got a forklift. He's got a forklift. He's got a forklift. He's going to smash in the side of the... What is he going to do? Smash in the side of the door and then try to lift up the car? All right, now lift it. Lift it. There you go. All right, now turn it on its side. This was a total junk car. But you know, it was a cool segment, though. But there's no gasoline in there, everyone. They're not going to do anything like that. For safety reasons, they're not going to. Oh, man, if that door comes off with it, they better not put a camera shot inside that car. You're going to realize it's all stripped. Look at the inside of the car. Look at the back seat. It's all stripped. Oh, my God. You got to be so damn careful with shit like that. It's a junk car. But you know what? Look, let's be kind of smart here for a second. You don't want AEW doing that for full price for a regular car. You're going to use a junk car. I mean, that's common sense. But you got to be a little bit more careful with the camera angles. I mean, I knew right away you weren't going to have a plate on that car. You know, the front plate obviously is missing because of Florida, but when you no back plate, I mean, I know some people out there, they'll run the tag to see where the car comes from. I get it, but that's why you don't ever show the back of the car. I'm a stickler to detail. If I produced that segment, two things that I would have done. Number one, I would have made sure that there's no camera to the back of the car. And the second thing is that if you're going to do the forklift and nail the side of the car. You got to make sure that the seating is still in there. I would even dare throw a couple of duffel bags in there to make it look like some of their gear was still in the limo. It's all good. It's all good. It was not a bad segment. So anyway, those were your cameo prices. You know, not too bad. I mean, like I said, I want to talk about this Monday with Mish, but, you know, hey, this is my show, and you're tuning in, and I'm curious. I mean, sure, when we're not actually dipping into our wallets to pay for it, we could say, oh, I would dump $500 for so-and-so. But is there anybody on that list that you would seriously consider if you had some extra cash and you would pay that money to talk to them? I'll read you the list again very quickly, and I'll tell you right now, right off the bat, who I would seriously consider paying. Alexa Bliss, $600. Seth Rollins, $600. Lashley, $450. Drew McIntyre, $450. Rhea Ripley, $350. Cesaro, $350. Kevin Owens, $500. Sami Zayn, $350. Shawn Michaels, $750. Bianca Belair, $400. Rey Mysterio, $500. Nia Jax, $350. Charlotte Flair, $500. Honestly, if I had the opportunity to buy one and pay for it, I would probably choose Charlotte Flair. I don't know. That's a good question, Harris. What is Lily's price? What is Lily's price? You know, I mean, look, one of the friends of the show, she is an avid listener of the show. She doesn't chat all that much. Her mother paid today so she could meet Alexa Bliss. And she sent me a clip of her talking to Alexa Bliss. And, you know, one thing I want to make clear is that some of these conversations are not pre-recorded. They are live, one-on-one. So when you hear some of these prices, you could possibly, I mean, I don't know. Maybe these are all pre-recorded, but I know today some of them were live. And she talked one-on-one with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was regular dress, no makeup, no TV, raw makeup, no Lily, but just a down-to-earth, very friendly conversation. Alexa Bliss did not rush her off. Oh, Sting and Darby Allin. Another announcement. He wants it to be a handicap match. He's begging Sting not to get involved. Stay home. So Sting is going to stay home so Darby Allin could have a handicap match against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. You know Sting on Cameo? He's actually on there twice. I don't remember how much he charges. I think he charges $400 or $500. I don't think it's $600. $600 would sound really outrageous. I think it's $400. But he has two different prices. One with makeup, one without. Without the makeup, I think it's around $250. And if you want Sting to cut a cameo for you with makeup, it's a lot more money. Which I guess, I guess. Look, you get a cameo from Sting, that's pretty cool. I still get a kick out of some of the people that do podcasts. You see what they do? And it's cute. I mean, they paid for it, so I really can't knock them. I mean, they're giving money to wrestlers who have earned it, so I can't criticize it, but I love the ones who will pay wrestlers to do cameos, to give a plug for their show, and then what they do is they crop it so you don't see the word cameo on the bottom. So when they launch their podcast, they're like, hey, this is Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And you're tuning into one of my favorite podcasts out there, the Stroke My Nuts podcast. And every week I tune in, and you should as well. And they crop out the cameo part of it. I find that cute. I don't know. This is something about it I get a little chuckle at. But, somebody asked me a while back to go on Cameo. I would never do it. Seriously, if I ever went on Cameo, I would probably do Deli Man. See Deli Man back there? I probably would do Deli Man. I still got the salami. I still got the outfit. I'd probably do it for like $20 and I would make it all go to charity. Seriously, I would put it right to some charity. And, yeah, I would write it off on my taxes at the end of the year. I mean, that's smart business. You earn too much money, you get put in a different tax bracket. You could get into some serious shit. Here comes Evil Uno. He's going to take on Miedo. We know what the outcome of this match is going to be. The big question is, how do we go from point A to point B? Brody's son is out there with them. Nice to see. Nice to see. I heard that report that they didn't allow him to go out on dark because he didn't do his homework. Yeah, I mean, no dessert until after you had your dinner, I see some of you. Yes, rest in peace, Brody. It's still amazing. It's amazing that he's gone. And, I was looking at my autograph cards because I have at least 200 autograph cards. And no joke. And if I have to next week, I'll put them over here and show them to you. I collected so many sets of the Wyatt family, the Topps cards, and the Shield and the Wyatt family were the two groups. I had built the New Day one a couple of times, but I ended up giving them away on Patreon. But I have at least 4 or 5 sets of autographed Topps cards of the Wyatt family. All 4 of them. Bray, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman. All 4 of them. And like I said last week or the week before, it blows my mind that my favorite faction in the last 10 plus years minimum, and there's only one person left on WWE, and that person's not even on television. That's just ridiculous. Especially, I feel bad for Eric Rowan. I really do. Eric Redbeard, Rowan, whatever you want to call him. Because, maybe promotions would have hired him simply because of the passing of Brody Lee. But when he showed up on Dynamite and had that sign, it was so touching. And we all thought that we were going to see a lot more of Eric Redbeard. And we haven't. We haven't. And yes, COVID is a large part behind it. But, AEW didn't work out a deal to bring him in. I mean, and that guy, I could only imagine, what he's going through. I mean, anybody that was close with him, obviously. But, I really thought we were going to see a lot more of Rowan, and we haven't. We haven't. Right now, Miro, a little bit of psychological game to Evil Uno. Evil Uno got a little of offense in there, and Miro gets out of dodge. Evil Uno, for some reason, ran to one side of the rope so Miro could pull him out of the ring. Miro inadvertently punches the metal ring post, and it looked like he really did. Evil Uno, nice flip outside the ring. Evil Uno's lost a decent amount of weight, man. You remember when they first came out, I would call him Evil Pizza Uno. I could not stand the guy. And little by little, and you remember me saying this a while ago, that the Dark Order went from a cult to a fraternity. And even before the passing of Brody Lee, they turned into a fraternity. And some of these guys would rub off on you a little bit. And Evil Uno, I get feedback from a lot of you out there. You hang out with him on Twitch, playing video games, and they're like, dude, this guy is a pretty cool guy. And you see a little more. And meanwhile, he's getting his ass in better shape. And I'm happy for him. I'm actually a fan of Evil Uno now. And you want to know something? I swear on God, I'm not making this up. Not making this up. By the way, we're about halfway through the show. We're an hour and 5 minutes in. It is currently 11:06 p.m. As soon as Dynamite goes off the air, as will I. Not doing calls today. All right. I don't want to disappoint anyone, but we just started taking calls last week. Last night, by far, was the best night yet as far as taking calls. We had some wonderful conversations yesterday, and those conversations spanned across 20-something years of wrestling. And, and I loved even a question about getting a wrestling license and stuff, but I want to make that feel special and important. So I think we'll always, as long as it doesn't get too late, we'll always take some questions on Mondays. So this way you get the opportunity to talk to Mish as well. I will do it on Thursdays, absolutely. Maybe once AEW returns to Wednesdays, since we're not doing a watch-along, as far as I know, then maybe on Wednesdays we could do some live calls for half an hour, and you could talk about the Dynamite that just aired that night, NXT the day before. But as of right now, I think Monday and Thursday are the days, and we'll build on that. But yeah, Psycho says that Evil Uno has a heart of gold, man. I tell you, I almost feel a little bit embarrassed at how much I disliked this guy early on. It was nothing personal, but, people kept saying to me, dude, this guy's a good guy, man. He's really friendly, socializing. And what I was going to tell you before, I swear on a stack of Bibles, I'm not making this up. There'd be no reason for me to even say what I'm about to say if it wasn't true. I love playing the game Uno. I love playing Uno. Steam has it. Ubisoft, if that's the Ubisoft, and that might even be the way it's pronounced. But they have the game Uno out, and I play a couple of times a week. For a little while, I wanted to simulcast it on Discord, but, that didn't work out. But I play Uno every week, numerous days a week. And one time about 2 or 3 months ago, you randomly play people live and they just appear. You could pick friends if they're on your list, but I would just choose like 2-on-2, or you play, 4-way, and then random people who are live, they get put in the chat room. And one of the persons that popped up, it said Evil Uno, and it was a picture of Evil Uno's face. I don't know if it was Evil Uno or not. There's no way to chat live during the game. But it was just pretty cool. And yes, probably somebody thought of that because of the game Uno, and his name is Uno. But I really believe that it was Evil Uno playing Uno that time. I don't remember if I won, though. Miro, we're back from commercial. Miro, upper hand on Evil Uno. Evil Uno selling a lot of pain in his back, in his midsection. Miro goes outside the ring and clotheslines one of the members of the Dark Order. He's not obviously going to do anything to Brody -1. I don't even think he's out there. I think he's in the back. I think it was that Stu Grayson, I think Miro just chased away. So right now you got no members of the Dark Order at ringside. Evil Uno getting a little bit of offense. Couple of slow punches to Miro's face. Miro misses with a right. Evil Uno with 3 forearms. Miro pushes Evil Uno against the ropes. And Evil Uno, wow. Almost like a Huracan Rana. Reminded me a little bit of Scott Steiner a little bit. Not the Frankensteiner, but Miro's in the corner a little bit dazed. Evil Uno with 2 shots. Nice kick to the face of Miro. See, I will tell you this, and if anybody tunes in every week, I say this. Sometimes matches have no business going long. This match, honestly, though, I have no problem how long it's been going so far. Evil Uno he just did a swanton off the top rope just for a 1 count. But this match has been very competitive. I know we all feel that Miro should be winning squash after squash after squash, but this match I'm kind of liking. Now you got all the members of the Dark Order on the rampway, including Brody -1. They're all trying to pump up Evil Uno, and Evil Uno is like this, and he's trying to get psyched up. Evil Uno, I think, attempting a powerbomb. Miedo had his hands on the mat, so Evil Uno stomped him. Evil Uno with a shot. Evil Uno runs the ropes. I don't know what the fuck that was. He just dived into Miedo's arms, but... Is this a fruit roll-up? Fruit roll-up for a 2 count. But Evil Uno pushes Miro off, and Miro runs into the corner head first. There's no way he's winning. 2 3/4 by Evil Uno. There's no way the Evil Uno... They're trying to get the fans riled up that he could possibly be a title change. It's not happening. It's not happening. Brody -1 just ripped like wrist tape off of himself. All right, Evil Uno wants to go for his finisher. The match is just about over, everyone. Clothesline, Miro just looks at him. Miro responds with his own clothesline. This match will be over in about 15 seconds, everyone. Evil Uno is down on his knees. Miro grabs his left leg. And Miro is kicking him in the back, and here we go. Game over. Told you, 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. Ring the bell. I don't know if you can heard it. Yeah. That was it. You could see how the match was going. Miro won't break the hold. Now he finally breaks the hold. It wasn't a bad match. I mean, you knew the outcome, but Evil Uno did a pretty damn good job in this match. I can't complain about this match. What do we still have for tonight? I'm trying to think. I know we're getting Nyla Rose wrestling. I think she's taking on Leyla Hirsch. And anybody remember what other matches they had scheduled for tonight? Miedo slapping the TNT Championship. Oh, yeah, Hangman Page is also wrestling tonight. Yeah, they're showing highlights of Andrade from last week. They're going to show highlights now of Andrade from other promotions, by the way. I heard that AEW got some footage. I don't know if they're going to show it tonight. They're showing some of his jewelry, beautiful ring, brass knucks. I don't know, it just reminds me of Santos Escobar. I love that charm he's got with his mask on it. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to show some of the footage tonight. Yeah, they're just showing him the face of Latinos. That's what they're calling it. It almost looks like a commercial for a restaurant. Andrade El Diolo, face of Latinos. Next week, he's going to have a sit-down interview with Jim Ross. I don't think... Oh, he's got bucks, Benjamin. Andrade actually does have some cash. He's not broke. Tony Schiavone in the ring again. Okay, June 26th, 2 weeks from now, Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. Kenny Omega with Don Callis. They're entering the ring right now. So anyway, quickly, everyone, of that list I said earlier, if I said to you, look, those prices, half price, I'll pay for half of the Cameo and you would pay the other half. Who would you on that list would you pay for? For me on this list, I honestly think the only one I would do is Charlotte Flair. I actually would seriously consider Nia Jax. I'm not joking. I would seriously consider Nia Jax. If I really wanted to apologize for last year with Sami Zayn, I would. If I thought that he would give a shit, but I wouldn't do that. I think Shawn Michaels' price is way, way out of line. I think Shawn Michaels, you know, if it was him with someone else, I could see it. I don't think. Yeah, I would actually seriously consider Nia Jax. I'm a fan of Nia Jax. You know, I mean, I'm not going to take away the fact that she has been careless in the past and caused some injuries, but I like Nia Jax. I actually don't have too much of a problem with her. We got Eddie saying he would choose either Ray or Charlotte. Kevin Owens, if Kevin Owens' price was like $300 instead of $500, I would consider Kevin Owens as well. Some people feel that Nia Jax should be paying others. So Don Callis just called Jungle Boy a one-hit wonder. Kenny Omega is saying how he is supposed to sell this match because of his obligations. He's saying the most protected, the most prestigious prize in pro wrestling, the AEW Heavyweight Championship. He can't bring himself to say anything disparaging about Jungle Boy. He said he's got an underwear model body, Jungle Boy. He actually respects Jungle Boy. There's something that's missing in Jungle Boy. He's giving the mic back to Don Callis. What is Jungle Boy missing? Oh, you don't think he would say dad? He can't go the father route. Oh, don't say the dad. Guts. You really want to trigger people. Oh, man. That's just old DT talking over here. I obviously don't want to go there with the dad stuff, obviously, with just when I went through with my father. But just talk about how epic and heated that would get. Yes, he's missing height. Yes, he's missing guts. Kaus would have been the ultimate asshole if he would have said that. They might still say it. They're surprised that he's out there because they never knew Jungle Boy to be a promo guy. Looks like he's got something that he wants to say. And he feels that Jungle Boy doesn't have the guts to say anything. Are you going to lay your hands on me before the match? Are you going to engage with the greatest promo in pro wrestling? Who's better on this microphone than Kenny Omega? Kenny Omega's laughing a little bit. He's going to give Jungle Boy 5 seconds to say what he wants to say. Make it good. Jungle Boy grabs the microphone. What is he going to say? I respect you. You talk way too much. They're brawling in the ring a little bit. Look, you got to start hyping up this match a little bit. So right now, Kenny Omega's beating down on Jungle Boy. Please, no one going out there to make the save. Leave it just the two. Leave the focus on the two. Let Jungle Boy hit a reversal now and actually get him. He's got him in the. He's trying to get him in the snare trap. The Young Bucks just made the save. James Pasco HBK is $750 for the cameo. So you have the Young Bucks with Don Callis and Kenny Omega in the ring. Jungle Boy is outside the ring, and they're fandangoing his music. Oh, I still got to do predictions for Against All Odds for this Sunday. Oh, Jay Cargill. Okay. Let's quickly do Impact Wrestling pay-per-view predictions for this weekend. I tell you, it's not a bad lineup. I think they'll do a decent buy rate. And, again, what you heard about the NWA number is not complete. I know people raced to spark conversations. They don't care if the number is accurate or not. They just want a reason to have a talk, to just yap about it. So anyway, Impact Wrestling Against All Odds this weekend. We have Satoshi Kojima, which actually I'm looking forward to seeing, with Eddie Edwards in his corner, versus Joe Doring with Eric Young, Cody Deaner, and Rhino. I think you have to have Satoshi Kojima get the win on this one. Deonna Purrazzo with Kimberly and Susan versus Rosemary. For the Knockouts title, I'm going with Deonna Purrazzo to retain. Cody Deaner and Rhino will be taking on Decay for the Impact Tag Team Championships. I'm going to go with... Wow. You got to have... you know what? I'm going to go with Eric... I'm going to go with Black Taurus and Crazy Steve to win the belts. I'm going to go with a title change over there. Rich Swann versus W. Morrissey, former Big Cass. I'm going to go with W. Morrissey to win that one. A 5-way to determine... By the way, we're at commercial right now, so that's why we're sneaking this in. 5-way match to determine the number one contender for the X Division title. We have Petey Williams versus Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin versus Chris Bay versus Rohit Raju. You know I have been extremely high on Rohit Raju for a while. Something tells me Chris Bay might be winning this, but I think it would be nice to see Rohit Raju get a little bit of a little extra push right now. So I'm going to go with Rohit Raju. More of the fan in me than actually the reality of it. For the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, Fire and Flavor defending the belts against Kimberly and Susan. I am going to go with Fire and Flavor to retain their championships. Jordan Grace versus Tennille Dashwood. I am going to go with Jordan Grace to win that match. Street Fight, Sami Callihan and Tommy Dreamer versus the Good Brothers. We know that Sami Callihan is going to take on the winner of Kenny Omega versus Moose at Slammiversary. So obviously something has to happen with Sami Callihan in this match. It is going to be a street fight. So I am going to go with Sami Callihan to actually win him and Tommy Dreamer, but then something will transpire after the match to add a little bit of pressure, a little heat on the Slammiversary match. And then the main event, Kenny Omega with Don Callis in his corner defending the Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, and it's going to be defended at Daly's place. He's defending it against Moose. Moose, in my opinion, needs to win this belt. As I've said 1,000 times before, Jim Ross, everybody who's involved with AEW would never dare say publicly that it hasn't helped. Impact Wrestling hasn't been benefited anywhere near as much as everybody thought it would by having AEW involved. That was done because of COVID and to try to inflate some of the numbers. And in the return, you had Gallows and Anderson make appearances on AEW, and you had a little bit of back and forth. Private Party got a payday. But I think that starts coming to an end. I think now with the return of fans and COVID almost, the pandemic part of it almost over, I think Impact Wrestling needs to start breaking away. Let me put it this way. I've said this before, and I'll say it again now. 6 months from now, that forbidden door that everybody keeps talking about with AEW, you're going to see that door is going to be mostly closed. And you're not going to see many promotions still going back and forth with AEW. Everybody's got to focus on their own product. And with COVID, the pandemic part about to be over, 6 months from now, you're going to see a much different scenario. And you're going to realize that a lot of these handshake agreements were because of COVID. They tried to help each other stay alive a little bit. And I also believe, even though NWA's buy rate is going to be better than what's being reported, they have to offer free programming to fans. You can't force everything to be subscription-based. You're not going to get fans that way. You need to offer them something for nothing and lead it to pay-per-views. I'm telling you, you can't do it that way because just think about this. If you think 425 buys is so bad, how many people do you think are subscribing every month to pay to see NWA programming? It's a very, very, very low number. They can't even put that as content on Patreon. And Patreon, they only had about 20 or 30 people at the very end. Lance Archer, welcome to the ring. Oh, as we said last week, he was going to beat the shit out of pretty much a nobody. Who is this guy? It's going to be chokeslam, pin. That's it. Oh. Who's he facing? What the fuck was that? Jake loves it. Look, Lance Archer's my favorite wrestler. But, yeah, this... You know what? This should have been last week. Lance Archer should have been so pissed off about what happened at the pay-per-view. Lance Archer should have done this last week. Chandler Hopkins. Thank you very much, Rocky Red. Chandler Hopkins. End this already, please. End this. End this. Why is this guy with this scared look on his face acting like he's not even injured? Oh, please, do not put Chandler Hopkins back on TV anymore. He lifted him up to do like his razor's edge, and the guy had this scared look on his face but sold no pain whatsoever. He should have been like this. Stupid, man. Absolutely stupid. What a... Oh, give me a break. Dolph Ziggler's brother with anorexic Rick Rude. Anorexic Rude. Ravishing anorexic Rude. Again, these are people that, you know, he works backstage. But I do like Cesar Bononi, though. I do like Cesar Bononi. He's actually a monster. This stuff should be on Elevation or eventually on Friday nights. Some of what we see in tonight, there's at least 7 or 8 people that we have saw tonight, even if it's for a very short period of time, have no business being on Dynamite. Have no business. Nyla Rose is coming out with Vicky, and I think the fans don't know how to react right now. I think, truthfully, I think the fans don't know if they should be cheering her or booing her. And by the way, the burgers last week, we weren't sure what the deal was. McDonald's actually gave Britt Baker 1,500 coupons, and I don't know if it was for charity or something, but it was McDonald's. I know some people were saying Whataburger. I said it kind of looked like McDonald's. Looked like a Quarter Pounders. Legit Leyla Hirsch. I like Leyla Hirsch, man. You know, you watch tonight, everyone. You're going to see the goofs that despise AEW, but because everybody's going to be talking about AEW tonight, they're not going to be able to resist, and they're going to write dumb shit on social media, and they're probably going to crack jokes about Leyla Hirsch's height. You know, they know nothing about Leyla Hirsch, and do that just so they can get 20 or 30 people to go LOL, LMAFO, and these are grown-ass adults. Nyla Rose, I guess they're going to keep her as a heel. Maybe Britt Baker is going to be more of a babyface now. Please don't let this be a squash, though. Okay, Leyla Hirsch with an armbar. Nyla Rose immediately grabs the ropes with her legs. Are we going to go to a commercial break already? This feels like they're about to go to a commercial break. Oh, so we're getting 10 and Hangman Page versus Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs tonight. Tonight might be the night that Brian Cage finally breaks away from Team Taz. That's what they're going off the air with? Leyla Hirsch tried to go for a tope suicida. Nyla caught her and drove her back into the edge of the apron. And she does it again. Smashes her back into the apron. It looks like they're about to go to commercial. A lot of tope suicidas tonight. A lot of tope suicidas. Now, apparently Britt Baker is going to come out and cut a promo right after this match is over. So, as soon as this match is over, expect a confrontation between Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. Yeah, VJ, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm very disappointed at the last 3 weeks of AEW on Friday night. I really expected it to be better. I expected the rating to be lower. And, look, I mentioned this earlier in the week. Back in the day when WWF was preempted for the dog shows, and later on they would be preempted for the U.S. Open, and they would have to air on a Thursday or a Saturday or later on at night, the ratings were not all that great. A Friday night, 10 p.m. to midnight is not a good slot to be in. But you would think with the veracity and the dedication of the AEW fan, let's be honest, I think it's safe to say, even people that don't like AEW, I think you'll agree with me on this, the hardcore AEW fans are more passionate about AEW than the hardcore NXT fans. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the AEW fans, they are so passionate about their product. Everything gets defended, and the fact that they still drew the numbers they did, but, going into the pay-per-view, the go-home show, I read the matches off. All those matches belonged on Dark. And yes, Young Bucks last week with Pac and Penta was awesome. And tonight, doing it as a trios match was great too. But other than that, I don't know. Tonight feels a little bit more solid than last week and a week before. But you're coming off a pay-per-view. And, you got some swerves and turns. And still, to have that kind of number, I really thought they were going to get 7 last week. And I believe, even if they did score 7, I think a lot of people out there would have still said, wow, what a pathetic number. But anyone out there that is saying, oh, they lost 2/3 of their rating since they started going unopposed, that is so unfair. Because once they get back to prime time Wednesday night, that 900,000 number will return. It'll return. You're not having it that 4 weeks or 5 weeks away from Wednesday night that those fans are gone and they're never coming back. Anybody that tries to sell you that is just looking to use you for a conversation. So they will get those viewers back. But let's not pretend here. 10 p.m. to midnight on Friday night is not a very popular time slot. So they just got rid of the picture-in-picture. They've been keeping picture-in-picture for most of the night, too. So anyway, let's talk quickly about SmackDown a little bit. I'm just gathering my notes. I'm going to save the Roman Reigns, Usos, Rey Mysterio for the final discussion tonight. Because a lot of the other stuff was repeat of last week, was filler, and honestly is not worth much time at all. First of all, you had a backstage segment with Chad Gable and Montez Ford, and they agreed, well, the two tag teams agreed to let it be Montez Ford versus Chad Gable tonight, one-on-one. Angelo Dawkins is still under the weather, so that's why he hasn't wrestled the last 2 weeks. So they agreed that Angelo Dawkins and Otis would stay in the back. By the way, Otis has shaved his entire beard. A lot of people do not like his look right now. He probably should have shaved the beard when he first turned heel. We are back from commercial. We'll go back to SmackDown a little bit. But we're back to commercial. And Leyla Hirsch, I don't know if she's going to try to, I don't know if she tried to suplex. See, they got to be really careful about doing rope moves with Leyla Hirsch because she is so short. It's nothing against Leyla Hirsch. You know I like her. But all these rope spots, you got to be so careful because that difference in height, you're just asking for trouble. Yeah, Leyla Hirsch with a little bit of offense on Nyla Rose. Oh, she climbed the top rope and did a nice moonsault. But, yeah. Just the 2 count. Nyla just grabs onto the rope. Leyla Hirsch was ranked number 5 going into this. She will not be ranked number 5 coming out of this. That's all I'll say. This match needs to end now. Needs to end now. We hear a USA chant because Leyla Hirsch is obviously not from the U.S. Yeah, this match needs to come to an end. Nyla Rose, please pick her up and smash her on her back. Thank you. Thank you. Now you got to do your finisher. End this match in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Hurry up. 9, 8, 7, 6. Don't let me down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, you got to be kidding me, man. She draped Leyla Hirsch off the top rope. Nyla Rose is climbing it. Why is this? This is a match that should have ended a little bit quicker. Nyla climbs the rope. Leyla hits her in the gut. Thank you for the kind words, Austin. Thank you, my friend. I know we have a couple of super chats that I will get into. In fact, you know what? Let's save SmackDown for the end. Because we really only need to talk about 5-10 minutes about SmackDown. We talked about Roman Reigns right at the beginning of the show. So we'll stay an extra 5 or 10 minutes tonight. I'll save SmackDown for the very end. Yeah, no, that's it. Leyla Hirsch tried to do a Hurricane Rano off the top rope, and Nyla Rose reverses it, turns it into a powerbomb off the top rope, middle rope really, and it's over. Nyla Rose with the win. Like I said, Britt Baker should be coming out right now and have a confrontation with Nyla Rose. So we should see this. Okay, Vicky is entering the ring. From what I was told, Britt Baker should be coming out. The replay with the powerbomb, impressive. No question. Off the middle rope. Okay, Vicky draped a shirt over Leyla Hirsch's head. Is that... Oh, that's Nyla's shirt. It's not Britt Baker's shirt. Where is Britt Baker? She's supposed to confront. They're supposed to have a confrontation. Did they change it? Oh, they're doing it backstage. Pre-recorded. Yeah. Backstage with Britt Baker. At first, she was furious about what happened last week with the burgers. Yeah, she's making fun of Nyla Rose's weight. Now they're talking about Layla's height. I think they're going to try to make Britt Baker to be like a badass babyface. She's basically saying, like, all the spotlight is on Britt Baker and Nyla has nothing right now. Yeah, so it looks like they're setting up the match between Britt Baker and Nyla Rose. I'm not against it. Not against it at all. Charlie, as far as badass goes, you look, she had that hardcore match with Thunder Rosa that was pretty good. You know, she's got confidence now. She's got a little bit of an attitude. All right, they're hyping up, once again, Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy, Saturday, June 26th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Next Friday, Penta, Eddie Kingston, and Frankie Kazarian versus Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers. Once again, they just change a person here and there. Andrade is going to have to sit down next week. Orange Cassidy versus Cesar Bononi. Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page in a handicap match. Jake Hager versus Wardlow, MMA rules, cage fight. That is going to be interesting. Brock Anderson and Cody Rhodes versus Who Dat and Aaron Solo next Friday. Now they're coming up with the main event. Wow, we're already at main event time. Holy shit. Powerhouse Hobbs and Brian Cage versus Hangman Page in 10. Hager versus Wardlow, MMA rules. Tony Khan's got to be awfully careful with this. They have to make this as realistic as possible. You start doing bullshit swerves, especially for AEW standards go, you know, they're going to get a lot of backlash on this. And you also got to be careful, too, because, you know, I always think of Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Brawl for All. Like, that tournament was set up for Dr. Death to win it. The thing is that it was legit. Dr. Death got his ass handed to him, God rest his soul. So you got to be careful. If you are leaning towards one direction of the outcome of that match, if it goes in a different direction, you got to be prepared for that. So I tell you, I'm actually interested. I'm interested in that match more than any other next week. None against Arn Anderson's son, Brock Anderson. Yeah. Guardian of Chaos. Yeah, I don't do it enough. If you all are enjoying the show tonight, where is it? There it is. Smash that like button. What? Oh, wait. Whoa, what happened here? It disappeared for a second. There you go. If you're enjoying the show, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Smash that like button. I know when I usually say it, most of you are like, yeah, maybe later. Maybe later. I would really appreciate if you all did that right now for a moment. The more you do it, the more that tells YouTube you enjoyed the show. If you don't like the show, give it a thumbs down. You know, how am I going to find out? Unless I set you up. I've set up a couple of people over the last year or so. But if you're enjoying the show, that helps. It helps very much. Let's get into a couple of super chats. Daniel-san, loving the live streams. Hopes AEW delivers tonight. Look, over the last 3 weeks, I think tonight has been the best of the three. I enjoyed it a lot more tonight. It's still lacking some important names, and, you know, that format with the Young Bucks and Penta and Pac. Look at what they're doing next week. Okay, now we'll put Frankie Kazarian in there. You know, yes, we're getting the Good Brothers, but at the same time, though, these matches feel the same. They all feel the same. I mean, I don't know if it's even furthering any storylines. What, Frank Kazarian wants to beat up everybody because of what happened with him and Christopher Daniels? Where is this leading to? Meanwhile, the Young Bucks are still the tag champs and nobody is getting elevated. And what's going on with Moxley? I mean, you're going to just designate him just for segments now? So there's a couple of things I'm not feeling with it. And you know what? They're probably doing this intentionally because of the ratings not being good on a Friday. I think they'll probably score a better rating on a Saturday, especially that it's airing earlier in the night. I think they'll probably do better numbers on Saturday. I think it was very smart for Tony Khan to move Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega because it was supposed to happen, I think, tonight. And they postponed it. All right, so we got the main event. We have Cage and Hobbs already in the ring. Now Preston Vance is being announced, and then Hangman Page soon after. So Danielson, I hope you enjoyed AEW tonight. You know, look, is it on the level of the Wednesday shows? No, absolutely not. But I think of the 3 weeks, I'm enjoying tonight more than the others, without a doubt. Harris B, he's not sure if I talked about it, but what do I think of Rob Black bringing back XPW and Jeff Jarrett teasing the return of Global Force? No, I don't think either one would be a good idea. Rob Black bringing back XPW with who? You know, like when we had some promotions teasing hardcore based. Now look, you got some promotions out there that all they do is hardcore stuff. I could see, you know, something in that capacity. But the thing is that you're not going to get household names for the most part because a lot of the names are now in their 50s. A lot of them are broken down. Some have passed on. You know, today is the 15-year anniversary of Rob Van Dam versus John Cena headlining ECW One Night Stand. In fact, little quick announcement, Patreon. I posted today the podcast that we did the night after ECW One Night Stand because today's the 15-year anniversary of that match, that pay-per-view and that match. You know, Eugene getting Kane from the Sandman, which was my favorite of the night, other than Cena versus RVD. But I put that on Patreon and a little announcement for my channel members on YouTube. By the way, tomorrow I'll upload the Q&A that I recorded. Tomorrow I'll also post the contest for that Johnny Gargano that signed Triple Crown plaque that I showed you the last 2 days. And in the very near future, everybody who is a channel member, you will have access to all of the retro podcasts that I've been putting on Patreon. The only thing is, those podcasts are not video episodes. So what I'm thinking of doing is just getting a server and putting the episodes on the server and then just give you a password. Every month we'll change the password and you could go in there and take whatever shows you want to take. So I'm going to be working on that over the next 2 weeks because we're at 11th of June. So probably by July 1st, that'll be available for everybody. So you will have all the retro episodes. You'll have the hotline stuff going back. So I'm going to start working on that too. But getting back to what you were saying, you know, if XPW were to reform, there would be a lot of things that you would not be able to do like before. And you would not have the household names. You know, I mean, Nick Gage might be your biggest star, and for some people out there, that's perfectly fine with them. I just don't know. I don't think it would be a wise idea. You know, you look at a lot of these promotions out there, let's be honest for a minute. You put WWE and AEW aside for a second. You look at Ring of Honor, you look at NWA, you look at Impact Wrestling, you look at MLW, you know, their income is this much right now. You know, we're just getting out of COVID. This probably would not be the wisest time to create a brand new promotion when everybody is scraping and clawing to try to get some type of revenue. It's not like there is a huge void out there and they're filling this gigantic void. You have NWA that is surviving by making everybody pay for every bit of content they're offering, which is a big mistake, but if you want NWA to stick around, that's all they can do right now. By the way, this match has been pretty calm so far, and we're on a split-screen commercial break. So, it's not like Ring of Honor is drawing 5,000 pay-per-view buys and, this promotion is doing this. We got to get out of this pandemic in the next month. Then you got to start building, repairing a lot of damage. Launching XPW right now would be a huge mistake. And Jeff Jarrett bringing back Global Force for what? For 100 people? 50 people? The only way Jeff Jarrett brings back Global Force is if they do a storyline with another promotion. That's the only way that's going to happen. You create another promotion, what void is that filling? So no, I think if any of this is legit, I think it's just people trying to create a buzz about themselves. I don't think that would be wise. I mean, you get out of this pandemic and you start seeing record crowds and you see record buy rates and record this. You would think over the last year and a half where people were forced to stay home, where people could not go to arenas, where people could not do the things they wanted to do. They couldn't go away. They couldn't go to clubs. They couldn't go to movies. They couldn't go here. They couldn't go there. You would think over the last year and a half, all these promotions that still offered pay-per-views would have record buy rates because people are sitting at home, forced to sit at home, and the opposite happened. The opposite happened. So there's no evidence that they would make anything. I think that would be a huge mistake on both their parts. SoFly, did I get the article he sent to me on Twitter about Kenny Omega's opinion about the Wednesday Night Wars? Yeah, I did look at it a little bit. I personally think Kenny Omega, makes a lot of points. My view about it is this, whether NXT was on Wednesday first or AEW was on Wednesday first, these promotions are not stupid. You have two wrestling shows on at the same time. Fans are going to choose sides. Most fans. The loudest fans are going to choose sides. And they're going to get behind their favorite. And there are a lot of people out there. This is something that, I think people underestimate. The Monday Night Wars were epic. I'm not happy that I'm this old. I'm kind of depressed, to be honest with you. But as a wrestling fan, if I could take pride, other than being able to do some stuff in wrestling, which you get to see me brag a little bit, very, very small. That's why I put a little promo at the beginning of shows. I'm very happy. I'm proud. I think back. I reminisce. A lot of people get to see me in an element that they don't normally see. So I'm not happy how old I am. But as a wrestling fan, I love it because I was there when WrestleMania 1 started. I remember the climate. I remember the Rockin' Wrestling Connection. I remember the whole MTV stuff. I remember as a fan living through that. The Monday Night Wars, you have no idea how deep. If you think NXT versus AEW was exhausting on social media, you have no idea how deep the Monday Night Wars went. Thank God there was no Facebook or Twitter at that time. Thank God. You have no idea how nuts it would have gotten. A lot of fans today never got that opportunity to feel that, to witness that, to enjoy that. And people try to recreate it. They force the narrative. AEW is not stupid. NXT is not stupid. People out there were going to force the narrative no matter what. You know, some people would say, oh, put AEW on Monday night, go head-to-head with Raw. Why? Why? Why would you hurt your business? When Dixie Carter went to Monday night, I have all my podcast episodes covering that in real time. We thought that was a gigantic mistake. She had a little bit of momentum with TNA, and instead of, you know, it's like investing in stock. you made a couple of investments. Nothing where anything just went out of control like AMC and others, but you have some investments and you're building a nice nest egg and you got a nice gradual increase. And you see, and then what do? You say, you know what? I'm going to take all my stock and I'm going to throw it in AMC because of all the crazy shit that's going on Reddit. And that's what Dixie Carter did on Monday nights. She had her ass handed to her. And the worst part about it is the amount of money that she now had to pay because of Hogan and Bischoff and a lot of other people, that was incredible damage. So you can't get consumed with these Wednesday night wars, but it was a ratings war, whether they want to admit it or not. WWE, Triple H, AEW, it was a ratings war. It was competition to try to get fans to watch their show. And fans that were preferring or taking a side, like I said, I hate country music. I don't hate it, but I don't like country music. Do you ever see me tweeting about it? I hate reality shows. I hate the Kardashians. Not personally, but I can't stand. You ever see me tweeting about it? I mean, I love music. I mean, sometimes I'll put some old school stuff online, but why would I post about country music? I can't stand country music. I don't like it. So why would I post online, hey, I'm listening to music. I ain't listening to that fucking country music shit, that hillbilly shit. So if that's the case, why do people out there have to keep telling you that they're not watching AEW, that they hate AEW, that they will crack jokes over and over and over again about AEW? They just want attention. Acknowledge me. That's what it is. So this Wednesday night stuff that went on, by the way, this match is still extremely mild. Ricky Starks now having a little bit of a verbal confrontation with Brian Cage. Ricky Starks just slapped Brian Cage in the face. Brian Cage is now power walking Ricky Starks to the back, leaving Powerhouse Hobbs in the ring by himself. Preston Vance trying to get the upper hand. And, very nice side slam by Powerhouse Hobbs. Hangman Page breaks up the 2 count. I don't know, man. I mean, Taz is frustrated on commentary. I mean, why do you have 2-on-1 with the 2 baby faces? I mean, I understand this is, like we said for 2 weeks, this is going to be the falling out of Brian Cage officially with Team Taz. But they're doing this right now because they want Hangman Page to hit his clothesline. That's the only reason why they're doing this. I mean, right now, Powerhouse Hobbs is taking on 2 guys. Hey, here comes Hangman Page with his clothesline. There you go. Match over. That's it. Preston Vance with the cover, though. Yeah. So predictable, man. I mean, for the live crowd, fun. Wasn't a bad match, but you could predict every little aspect of it. That was kind of ass backwards at the very end. But you know what the problem is? You know, like Mike says, Kenny Omega versus Brian Cage. I think that would be excellent. But does it feel like Brian Cage is going to be going for any titles anytime soon? What's going to happen with the FTW title? You know, they're not doing good for these super heavyweight guys. You really think about it. Oh, okay, why? Because all members of the Dark Order are now hitting the ring and they're all toasting. You know, nice moment. This is like for an indie show. They're all toasting a beer. All right? That's for an indie show. To close out Dynamite like this, you want Dynamite to close out with the biggest storylines of your promotion. That is like SmackDown going off the air with the Street Profits in the ring celebrating. Or on Raw, I don't know, let's see, AJ Styles and Omos, even though I don't think anybody would complain about that. So we are off the air. Let's close this out. Hold on. All right. This is I feel like I'm watching an indie show on TV. Now, that's not necessarily bad, because I loved going to indie wrestling events back in the day. But like I said, you need to go off the air with your most important, biggest storylines. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, the Pinnacle, the Inner Circle. And they go off the air sometimes like, again, for an indie show, you go local, the Dark Order come out, they toast, they have a beer, they want to talk about, the obvious topics. Okay, fine. You want to put Brody Jr. in the ring? It's nice. Everybody goes home happy. But as far as the TV show goes, it's very disorganized. I mean, it's very disorganized. There's got to be a better, more organized, and I'm not saying organization in the ring. I'm just saying that it's got to be, organized on TV a little bit better. I mean, let me put it this way. The TV show does not reflect the pay-per-view. Because if you follow what you watch sometimes on here, Kenny Omega would be wrestling halfway through the pay-per-view. They got to arrange this a little bit better, in my opinion. So, anyway. But getting back to what I was saying about the Wednesday Night Wars, you're going to have competition no matter what. There was no way to escape it. And the problem is NXT, they changed a lot about their promotion because they were going up with AEW. They were going to be compared no matter what. And, Mish, I got to give him the credit for it. He was the one. When they announced the move to Tuesday night, he was the one that said that the ratings ultimately are going to hurt both promotions. Because when they were on at the same time on Wednesday night, if you weren't feeling it with AEW, you could change the channel and go watch NXT. It's live. Now, the way it's set up, if it's Tuesday night and you're watching NXT, you're just not feeling it, you change the channel. You put on a baseball game, a movie, something happened in the news, you go on Discord, you start chatting with your friends, and you don't turn that back on. There's no other alternative. The same thing with AEW. You watch it, and you're just not feeling it. You do something else, you may not go back and watch it for the rest of the night, at least when you have two options. It's like going to a seafood restaurant. You go to a seafood restaurant. You're not in the mood for seafood. You might not go. You might go to a pizzeria instead. You go to pizzeria. I'm not in the mood for Italian food. All right, I'll go to get Chinese food instead. But if you have a place that offers a couple of different dishes, like a diner or something else, I don't know what I want today. Do I want fish? Or do I want maybe diner eggplant parmesan? Maybe I'll get nachos. You could go in there and you got a variety. And then even if you want a little bit of everything, you could keep going back and forth. But if you only have one item on TV and you're not in the mood for that, that's it. You lose that viewer. And both their promotions have been hurt by it. So Kenny Omega makes good points. I think Triple H makes good points. I think at the end of the day, I think you got to just enjoy what you want to watch. And like Triple H said yesterday, you don't want to watch NXT, you don't like it, watch it. Watch it. I know some people got triggered by that, but again, if I tweet about music and I don't like country music, why would I talk about it? Why? Because everybody else is talking about country music? No, I just avoid the topic. I talk about what I like, and that's what happens on social media. You got, and these are not teenagers. These are grown-ass adults. Some of them, qualify for Social Security. And they have to go out of their way to tell you, oh, it's Friday night. Now, you think I'm going to watch AEW? I'd rather take a cheese grater on my nuts. Oh, LOL, LMAFO. It's like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Why do we have to? And that's why these Wednesday Night Wars get so toxic. If people just enjoyed what they wanted to enjoy, that's boring. That is boring. So, anyway, a couple other super chats. Scorpio, 11-17. That's for the 11-17. And you know I'm just being lighthearted with you. These wrestlers are on Cameo, and hearing all these prices make him think that these wrestlers are not getting paid and they are desperate. They are getting, I think, half of the money. I don't think it's being done for charity. But look, you know, not for nothing, man. Even if the Cameo was $300, which is kind of steep, you know, if it's a live one-on-one call, you know, for $300, you have an all-time favorite, somebody you really look up to, and you get the opportunity to talk to that person for 5 minutes. $300 might be steep, but that's a memory you can never take away. You know, last year I was able to get a couple of one-on-one conversations, and I have a friend of the show, Anna, that pops up in the chat room once in a while. I know she's a fan of Kofi, and, you know, I DM'd her. I'm like, want to talk to Kofi today? How much? Nothing. Free. She had a conversation with him for about 5-10 minutes. She said it's memory she'll always enjoy. You know, some people, I think it's worth it. And again, for a 5-10 minute call, even if you make half the money, $100, $150, think about that. $100 just to sit in a room with a cup of coffee and just chat about whatever. You know, I mean, if you pay that kind of money and you start making demands like, look, I want you to say this and I want you to say this, and, you know, then I could see somebody like, you know what, you know, keep your money or you lose out. So, you know, it's not for everyone, but look at the Undertaker one. Look at how much money the Undertaker cameos were. And people paid it. So for some people, it means that much to them. So I really can't complain. I think the prices are set up that it's not for everybody. If you make it too cheap, you know, unless you limit it to a certain number, you make it too cheap, it's going to sell out in 2 seconds, which probably is what you want. But this is meant to be for the most dedicated fans out there. So, and look, as time goes by, maybe WWE creates their own Cameo, and maybe they drop the prices a little bit. But I loved the live one-on-one calls instead of the pre-recorded Cameo video. So to see, especially a friend of the show earlier, getting to talk to Alexa Bliss today, that was awesome. And I saw that smile on her face, and it's a memory they'll never be able to take away from her. So, Neil gives props to Roman Reigns today, perfect heel, and he looks up to him now, head of the table, and Neil is the new head of his family. So, yeah, absolutely, man. I praised Roman Reigns opening up the show today. Roman Reigns' promo with Jimmy Uso in the back is one of, I don't think people really realize how rare that type of promo is for Roman Reigns. Believe me, when I said that I could count them on these two hands, you go back and you watch it again. It wasn't this low-pitched, methodical. I mean, he did do that after. How could you do that to your brother? Who came out first? You. So you're the older brother. How could you do that to you? That Roman Reigns, we've seen him talk like this since he turned heel. But when he got so deep and angry, like, this isn't about kids, this is our livelihood, and he got really, like, passionate, that's a Roman Reigns promo you rarely ever see. And it was so good. Like, if you would have saw Jimmy Uso immediately after that say, you're right. You're right. And if they went in that storyline direction, I don't think anybody would have had any problem with it. That's how Roman Reigns was convincing. Everything he said, as narcissistic as he is, he was so convincing in what he said. I'm not the biggest Roman Reigns fan. I disliked him for years and years and years. I'm enjoying his character now, and I'm enjoying his work, and he is knocking it out of the park. He's killing it in this role. I also look at his title reign, and I think we all agree that his title reign has been smoke and mirrors. There has been no feud since he's won that championship where you felt that he legitimately could lose that championship. And honestly, I would never have taken the belt off of him. We're getting back to live fans. Somebody chasing Roman Reigns for that title is 1,000 times more money than Roman Reigns as a heel chasing someone for that championship. So, but they had to do it with smoke and mirrors leading up to the return of live paying fans. So when they go to SummerSlam, if it ends up being John Cena, how I feel right now, John Cena has no chance of winning that belt. That's how I feel right now because he's not sticking around that long enough. Big E, though, all right, I could see possibly title change happening there. So up to now, treading water, smoke and mirrors, but the matches and the psychology and the storyline telling has been so top-notch, we don't care. And that's a compliment. We don't care. We know Roman Reigns is retaining. He has the match at Hell in a Cell against Ray. There's no chance Ray's winning that belt. But when everything clicks and everybody's role is spot on, you don't care. You're still enjoying it. And that's something you do not get that often in wrestling. So I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it tremendously. And props for WWE for a little bit of creative freedom, allowing them to ad-lib a little bit more than, what they normally do. Now, on Monday, Mish and I will talk about the rumors of Samoa Joe to NXT. We'll talk about the possibility of Aleister Black coming back, which you might remember was just 2 days ago where we said, Aleister Black, remember the conversation I had with Mish last Wednesday? You think Aleister Black could be following the footsteps of Drake Maverick? That WWE has, second thoughts? Now there's rumors that that could happen. And, again, for the people on social media, they're like, oh, fuck that. I mean, Tommy End, what's funny? I know his last name is not End, but I was thinking about it the other day. If Tommy End was his real name and he's married to Thea Trinidad, I just picture if you take her first name and his last name, her name would be Thea End. Not good. Not good. So we'll talk about that on Monday. We'll have some pretty damn good combo. We'll take some calls as well. So, keep that on the brain. Courtney Summers. Oh, Courtney, God bless you. I wanted to say it Tuesday, but, I got to keep reminding myself that a lot of people don't know everything that's going on. All I'll say is this. For a lot of my Patreon family especially, that, we've brought up Courtney in the past. She was dealing with some major, major health issues. Stuff that I'm going through is zero compared to what she went through. She actually even makes what happened to my dad seem minuscule. And she is 100% healthy right now. So when I see your DMs on Patreon, and I'm the only one that sees them, by the way, and I saw the exclamation points and everything else, I'm like, that's awesome, man. So much love. Very, very happy for you. And I know, some people that were showing support along the way, they may not be around like they used to, but believe me when I tell you, if they knew also, they would be ecstatic. Seriously. So just stay healthy now. Stay healthy. I really mean that. So awesome, man. Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Kind of feel like rude to take her off. Trust me, I don't want to, reveal what she went through, but it was pretty serious. Pretty damn serious. So very happy for her. So I want to give a shout out to La Nostra Familia, our great channel members. In fact, can I get away with both? Oh, yeah, I can get away with both. We have our great channel members at the top, and we have our very special members of the family on the bottom. They all share the channel in common. So, yeah. Courtney, if you're checking this out on the recap, a lot of people in the chat room very, very happy for you right now. So, hope you're doing well. Stay that way. So, anyway, let's talk a couple of final comments about SmackDown tonight. SmackDown was mostly about Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, of course, and Rey Mysterio. Everything else during the night just really felt like filler. Without me even looking at notes, you had Carmella take on Liv Morgan again. You think, like, okay, they're giving a little bit of momentum to Carmella. She beats Liv Morgan last week. And you always think about the 50-50 booking. And what happens today? You do that whole intro with Carmella, most beautiful woman in wrestling and this and that, and she loses to Liv Morgan. And to try to cover up the 50-50 nonsense, as long as Greg Hamilton says at the very end, but still the most beautiful woman in wrestling, Carmella's happy. You know, and they're trying to play it off like Liv Morgan has been asking for a long time for this opportunity to show what she could do. You know, and some people on social media are like, oh, she's the reason why Ruby Riott was let go. No, it's just storyline. But we got that match again. And you know what? I do have to bring up my notes for a second because somebody pointed something out to me today. The women's division on SmackDown right now, if you don't think it has been gutted, filleted, torn apart, let me throw this at you in case you haven't realized it. Let's put Natty and Tamina on the side for a second because they're the champions and they're on both brands. If you take Natty and Tamina, put them on the side, the entire SmackDown women's division consists of Bayley, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Carmella, Liv Morgan. Bayley, Carmella, Bianca, Liv Morgan, Sasha Banks. Outside of Natty and Tamina, their entire women's division on SmackDown is 5 women. So when you see Liv Morgan and Carmella facing each other, who else are they going to face? Their choices are Bayley, Bianca, Sasha. That's how bad they have dismantled their women's division. That's horrendous. That's horrendous. Yeah, it's been grilled, filleted, gutted, everything. We had a tag match. Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews. They lose to Big E and Kevin Owens. Typical SmackDown match. There was one point where Big E landed outside the ring on Apollo Crews and it looked a little bit awkward. But Kevin Owens hits the stunner on Sami Zayn, who missed a haluva kick for the win. After the match is over, you had Big E and Kevin Owens walking up the ramp. Apollo gets on the mic, calls Sami Zayn an idiot, and he says to them, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you celebrating? Next week, rematch. Those two versus me. And you know what he's going to do because there's this dramatic pause and Commander Aziz. So now we're going to get AJ Styles and Omos. They're stunt doubles. And I say that complimentary. You have next week Big E and Kevin Owens versus Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews. Once again, the same shit another week, just changing one person in the ingredient. After that, Sami Zayn a little bit pissed off. Who you calling an idiot? Commander Aziz thumb Sami Zayn down. Done. Finished. Sami Zayn, odd man out next week. As I said earlier, Street Profits, Chad Gable, Otis, they're in the back. Challenge issued to Montez Ford from Chad Gable. He agrees to let Otis stay in the back as Angelo Dawkins, who cannot wrestle yet because he's still a little under the weather. No COVID. So they agree to have a match in the ring. Mostly one-sided early on. Chad Gable doing pretty damn good in this match, but Montez Ford gets the upper hand. Towards the end of the match, Otis is shown in the back. First, we see Angelo Dawkins rooting, looking at the screen. Otis shows up, beats the shit out of Angelo Dawkins, leaves him laying. Otis hits the ring, causes the DQ finish. Otis now, as I said earlier, completely clean-shaven. A lot of people don't like that look, and I don't like it either. I mean, he looks... I personally think he should have shaved the beard when he first turned heel. I mean, he just looks very bland. He still looks like Otis, but you just seek out, if you didn't see SmackDown tonight, seek it out. It's something to get used to. Something to get used to. As I brought up earlier, if anybody might be tuning in late, Bayley came out to do her ding dong hello segment with Seth Rollins, and this happened. Yeah, not Brock Anderson, Brock Lesnar. That happened. That showed up today on the screen. Now, again, there's a lot of people online that are having a lot of tweet sex over this. Very simple. Again, what happened is in the back of the production truck, they have a board. Every wrestler's name is on it. Every wrestler's name. You know, even when I do a super chat, like if I put this up, see how it just pops up a name? Like you hit a button, name pops up on the screen. Brock Lesnar's name is right, I don't know if it's right next to Bayley or right underneath Bayley. All that happened was that somebody pressed the wrong button. That's all that happened. And again, since Brock Lesnar's not been on TV since he lost the WWE Championship to Drew McIntyre, that's why none of this is updated. That's why it still says WWE Champion and with Paul Heyman. Because they haven't had to update his info since then. So that's all that happened. I mean, faux pas, nonetheless, but that's what happened. No controversy behind it. SoFly says I'm speaking too logically. I know. I guarantee you there's podcasters that put that as their banner, you know, to get everybody tuning in. I'm sure this is going to be in the title, like Brock Lesnar, you know, big, huge mistake, or Brock Lesnar shown on SmackDown. And you know the deal. You know the deal. And the funny thing is, I see YouTube clips that do shit like that, and they get 100,000, 200,000 views. And I'm like, you know, yes, I'm a little jealous over that, but I'm like, you know, I'm not going to do that simply just to get people. I don't want to piss anybody off by giving you wrong info. I still think Brock is coming back. I think just in time for live fans, and I think it's going to be Brock versus possibly Lashley. I think that may be one of your SummerSlam matches. We will see. Shout out to Mike New York. Very cool what you wrote. So Bayley comes out, does her ding-dong hello. She brings Seth Rollins out there, and Seth is wearing like half lavender and a like light green, you know, like almost like it's like salmon color and half the suit. And all they really did was laugh. I mean, they showed last week what Bayley did to Bianca with all the laughing. And Bayley and Seth Rollins just fake laughing to the point where their medulla oblongata was swollen. So then Seth Rollins shows footage from the last couple of weeks, him beating the crap out of Cesaro. Bayley's got a very serious look on her face towards Seth, like, how could you do that? How dare you do that? And then they both busted out laughing. Then I think everybody saw this a mile away. I was going to tweet about it, but it's like, I'm not going to put on Twitter just so I could have 50 people say, oh, you were right. But you could see how they kept doing the camera angle to include the door. Over and over again, include the door, include the door. You knew somebody was going to be behind that door. Remember, it's Thunderdome. The fans can't see when somebody's hiding behind the door. Remember, I've been on Thunderdome 5 times already. Whatever you see on TV, you and I watch on SmackDown, whatever we see on TV, our vantage point, even if you're on Thunderdome and even if you're positioned behind that door, what you see is still what you see on TV. So you don't see that Cesaro is set up behind the door during the whole segment. You only see once the door is open. Just like Dominic. When Roman Reigns picked up Dominic and threw him on the outside of the ring, take note, they never showed the fall because they threw Dominic in a very comfy area with a mattress, pillows, or may even been a couple of people to catch his fall, but they did a thump. So he definitely, I think, fell on cushions. Nobody in Thunderdome could see that because all they could see through their computer screen is what we saw on TV. That's why when you go back to live fans, you ain't going to see things like that again. So now, they do that. They get away with it because nobody in Thunderdome could see what's being set up outside the ring. So the doorbell rings. Seth Rollins, being a gentleman, he'll answer the door. Opens the door at Cesaro. Cesaro lays him out, destroys the set. Bayley very upset. And then Bianca, which I don't know how people reacted to it. Because remember last week, I've been bullied. I've been called a boy. I've been called this. I've been called that. But Bayley laughing at me is just a whole different level. It's worse than bullying. So what does Bianca do this week? She does the very same thing of what Bayley did that was so egregious. Laughing her ass off at Bayley. So a lot of laughing tonight by them. Lots of laughing. Lots of laughing. Corbin versus Shinsuke again. Fruit roll-up again. This time, the crown is on the commentator's table, and Shinsuke gets, unfortunately, rolled up. Abrupt win by Shinsuke Nakamura. Rick Boogs is by the announcer's table, and Corbin shows up there, throws Boogs onto the table, grabs his crown, and then you could see how ridiculously stupid it was. Shinsuke is in the ring still, but trying to reach at Corbin because Corbin is not far enough back towards the ring. And then finally grabs onto Corbin and Boogs holds Corbin. Nakamura gets the crown back. And even they threw Corbin over the announcer's table. So later on, Corbin is pissed off, yelling at Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, I want my goddamn crown back. And, at first, I thought they were going in a direction are you kidding me? A crown? But they decide next week the crown is on the line. So they're actually going to have a match again next week. Shinsuke versus King Corbin for possession of the crown. Think of how many weeks in a row this shit has been going on. And we're going to get it again next week. Like I said, tonight's show was about 4 people. Roman, Jay, Jimmy, Ray, and Dominic. We can include Dominic too. So basically, just to add to what I said at the very beginning of the show, Jimmy Uso is in the back with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso is actually standing up to Roman Reigns and even teasing that, Roman wants a fight. He'll fight. He's had it with Roman Reigns. Jimmy Uso goes to the ring, and it was a little weird at the very beginning. I'll tell you why. right at the beginning of the match, or his segment, I should say, he's recapping last week how the referee botched. And your boy kicked out. That's what he said to the crowd. Your boy kicked out. WWE in the soundboard pipes in a whole bunch of cheers. And I'm saying to myself, okay, that doesn't make sense because the people they were facing was Rey Mysterio and Dominic. You go back and watch that segment, WWE on the soundboard hit the button for loud cheers. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. If anything, you keep it quiet because Rey and Dominic are the tag champs. So then Jimmy Uso continues recapping last week, talking about how Roman Reigns, how he had to make it about him, that Roman Reigns is jealous, that they want to hold gold just like Roman. And he said he's his brother's keeper, not Roman. Now you pipe in the cheers. Now it makes sense. And Jimmy concludes by saying, tonight I'm going to do something that I won't regret. So now we're wondering, what could that be? And Roman is seen in the back with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso in that room, the suite that they're always in. And Roman Reigns once again bringing up how they look alike. Every segment now, they always got to keep mentioning that they're twins. Keep mentioning over and over and over again. Okay, fine. Yes, Aew Dynamite ended about 30 minutes ago, and we're going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So after that segment, throughout the night, there's a little bit, back and forth. And then you had a confrontation, which I thought was pretty damn good, with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. And what happened was, Jimmy Uso, is telling Roman Reigns to his face in front of Jay, I saw what you did to my brother for a year. You did this, you that. And Jimmy's not having it. He's fed up with it. He's saying that you did this to us when we were kids, and you're always manipulating. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. And he's not having it no more. And he said, you want to spar? You want to box? You want to fight? I'll fight you. I'm sick of it. Jey Uso gets really loud, and he's like, I'm done with this. I've had it. I had it with you. I've had it with you. And Jey Uso is done. He leaves the room. So that's where we get the promo, like I said before, where Roman Reigns, is in the same room with Jimmy and Roman. That's why I absolutely love where they're going with him right now. It's not that sneaky manipulation where Roman knows that he's just playing with Jimmy's head. Because, like I said, a lot of storylines in the past, the manipulator, when the other person leaves the room, the manipulator has this sinister smile on their face like, I got him. I got him. No, Roman has this serious, serious look on his face, even when people leave the room, because everything he says, he believes in storyline. So he's telling Jimmy, like, you want to fight me? For what? For what? And then, that's where Roman Reigns gets into this really passionate, deep conversation and just ranting about, this is not about kids. This is about our livelihood and this and that. And when Roman was done, like I said, if we all would have saw Jimmy say, you're right, I don't think anybody would have been like, huh? It was so convincing, and it made every word, everything that Roman said made sense. It made sense. Then after he does that, that's where Roman goes back to the methodical, very deep, how could you do that to your brother? Your brother. Who came out first? You? So you're the older one. You should know better. How could you do that to your brother? Your brother. How could you? And putting the guilt trip on Jimmy Uso. And, you got to make this right. You got to make it right for your brother. And Jimmy Uso walks out. and it's fabulous. I mean, excellent writing, the way that story went. So now we're wondering, the end of the night, what's going to happen with Jimmy Uso or Jey Uso? And the answer is nothing. During SmackDown, Rey Mysterio was shown talking to Adam Pearce, and we knew on the preview that Rey Mysterio was going to confront Roman Reigns, address him. Now, all the rumors, I know some sites were convincing you that Roman Reigns was not having a match at King of the Hell in a Cell. I almost said King of the Ring, Hell in a Cell. But late yesterday, we started hearing, okay, it looks like they are going to go with Rey versus Roman Reigns. Okay, fine. So, at the very end of the night, Rey Mysterio comes out there, and before Rey comes out there, he's in the back talking to Megan Morant. And he says that, Roman, you can do whatever you want to your family. Don't mess with my family. And everything about his son, he's responsible for. As I'm watching him say this, I'm like, okay, you didn't react pretty much of anything when Dolph and Robert Roode beat the shit out of your son in the back, But anyway, he said he's going to call out Roman Reigns at the end of the night, and at the very end of the night, Rey Mysterio's in the ring calling out Roman Reigns, and he called Roman Reigns a rat bastard, and he wants Roman Reigns at Hell in a Cell. And Rey Mysterio was able to bring a kendo stick in the ring. And Roman Reigns originally was laughing a little bit. And when you saw the far shot, it did look a little bit humorous. I mean, Roman Reigns looks like this big and Rey Mysterio looks this big. But after Rey Mysterio's Hall of Fame career, we know how big and small, these guys are. So Roman Reigns at first thinks this is all a joke. And Rey Mysterio is pissed off. Roman gets the mic, and I think Roman said something like, I respect you as a father. And Rey just immediately starts whacking Roman Reigns with a Singapore cane. Next thing you know, Dominic shows up out of nowhere. Dominic with a couple of nice Singapore cane shots to Roman's head, but then Roman got the upper hand, and, because it's Thunderdome and they can't see inside the building, Roman picks up Dominic, and there's a very, 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 very close-up of Roman from the chest up, and he just tosses Dominic. You don't see where Dominic ends up. Obviously, they tried to play it off that Roman just threw him outside to the floor, but, he landed on cushions, and then when they got the camera on Dominic a minute later, it looked like he just fell splat. Rey with the upper hand, Roman with the upper hand, and we go off the air with a brawl. And I'll be honest with you. I leave you with what I said before. Roman Reigns' entire championship reign has been a lot of smoke and mirrors, because for most of you out there like me, there was never a time since he had that belt that we ever thought that he was in any jeopardy of losing it. But the storylines with him and Jey Uso, him and Kevin Owens, him and Edge, him and Daniel Bryan, him and Cesaro were good enough that even though we knew pretty much what the outcome was going to be, we didn't care because we knew the matches were going to be good. And I feel the same way here. I would prefer it to be a street fight. I know the WWE Championship will likely be on the line because, as we said earlier, even if Dominic says this is not about titles, this is about my son, if you really want to hurt Roman Reigns, you take away his baby, which is the championship. So I'm pretty sure that the title will be on the line because it just makes it feel more important. But I thought they did a very good job tonight of Rey getting a lot of the upper hand on Roman Reigns. The only thing is, will it be a street fight? I think that's the only question we don't know right now. Will it be a street fight? I think you have to have some type of no DQ or something because an Uso has got to get involved. Somebody's got to get involved. Maybe Dominic gets involved. You don't want it to end in a stupid disqualification. So I expect this to be either street fight, no DQ. If any of you are going to say inside the cell, I don't like the idea of Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio inside the cell. That would be interesting, but I still am going to go with what I said the night of WrestleMania Backlash. I said the night of WrestleMania Backlash, I thought the 2 Hell in a Cell matches would be Drew versus Lashley in the cell, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro in the cell. I'm still sticking with those two. I know they already announced Lashley and Drew inside the cell. I still think Cesaro and Seth need to make the finale of this feud inside the cell. And that was your episode of SmackDown. Not a bad show. You know, again, everything else throughout the night, I'm not saying that some of the matches were bad, but too predictable. And next week, we have almost the same shit happening again. Almost the same stuff. And like I said, even when you look at the women's side of it, who is Tamina going to face from SmackDown? Think about that for a minute. Let's just leave you with this, all right? The women's division on SmackDown right now is Bayley, Bianca, Carmella, Natty, Liv, Sasha, and Tamina. So obviously Bianca and Bayley are not fighting for championships. They're already in the middle of a feud. You have Natty and Tamina, and the only people that are left are Carmella and Liv. Why would they team up with each other? And Sasha Banks hasn't returned. Natty and Tamina, by default, have no challenger on SmackDown. None. They can't even wrestle on SmackDown. If they're a tag team on SmackDown, the only people they could face are outside enhancement talent. There is no other women's tag team on SmackDown. There's only one. That is awful. That's awful. So, anyway, I'm going to jet out of here. We were right around the same time as yesterday. And I ask you one last time, if you enjoyed tonight's show, smash that like button. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any friends out there that may not be aware of the shows, let them know about it. Had a blast last night, doing the Q&A and the live calls and everything. And I look forward to Monday. Now, some of you asked, will there be a NXT in your house takeover? Kind of said that out of place. NXT takeover in your house. Will there be a pay-per-view recap Sunday night? The answer is yes. Right now, there's only 5 matches advertised. So this recap honestly has no reason to go past an hour. I'm sure they'll add 1 match here and there, but for the most part, we got 5. I did my predictions Wednesday night. As of right now, I'm sticking with my predictions. Although I still want Cameron Grimes to win that ladder match, which I should smack myself again, even getting behind Cameron Grimes at all. But I think Sunday will be decent. Remember, the last time they did the In Your House takeover, I think the pay-per-view was maybe 2 hours, 90 minutes. I think it might have been 2 hours. So we will have an early night. So be prepared for an early recap Sunday night. So I will be here. Once again, tomorrow I will upload the Q&A that I recorded for our channel members. For everybody who is a channel member here, Saturday, I would say around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I will post the thread for the contest. And you know what? Since some of you may not have tuned in Wednesday or Thursday, let me post a picture here of the prize. Somebody is going to win this. Maybe I could zoom in on it a little bit. My Zoom going to work tonight? Yeah. It is signed. It is framed. It's got a certificate of authenticity from WWE. I think it's a pretty cool plaque. It's a Triple Crown Championship plaque signed by Johnny Gargano. And it is framed. And it's, I think, 20 by 24. It's not small. It's not like an 8 by 10. So somebody's going to win that. No consolation prize, just one winner. That's it. So, if you're not a channel member yet, if you want to sign up, in no way am I trying to say that anybody has to, but, if you sign up before Sunday afternoon. If you want to take part, there's no purchase necessary. If you're a channel member, you could take part in it. And if you're not sure how to join, on any of the videos here, you'll see a box that says join. Click on it. You'll see a video that describes what it is. And we don't have many channel members here, so you have an awesome chance of winning. In fact, Mr. Rofe from Israel, who is live right now, I think he's already won twice in the last 4 or 5 months. So good for him. But anyway, everyone, again, I know it sounds like a broken record, and I don't pander. I tell like I see it and how I feel. And when I say I am truly humbled by your support, I really mean it. It is incredible to see the amount of love and support that everybody has for not only me, but even in the chat. I mean, I know sometimes there's some skirmishes that go on in the chat, but the vibe is phenomenal. And that was one of the things that people were warning me before I even started this channel. They're like, you know, YouTube is toxic, man. If you think Twitter is toxic, you have no idea what you're in store for YouTube. And thank God we have not had that. I mean, I've had to, you know, shadow ban a few people, you know, and I kind of feel bad for some of them because they don't even know that they're shadow banned. Because once in a while, I'll remove one of the people that I know it's kind of like messed up what I'm about to say, but once in a while, I'll take a person who I shadow banned and I'll copy their name so I don't lose it, and I'll remove the ban. And then I look and I see all the comments that they've been writing for like the last year. And they're posting comments on all different episodes and saying this and putting me down and saying this and bringing up other podcasters. And I start laughing because I say, this person has no idea for the last 11 months, everything they've written, these essays, nobody has seen it. And then I put the shadow ban back on, and then the comments disappear again. But unfortunately, I've had to do that with some people, and I'm not going to lie to you. There's a few people out there in social media land and podcasting land that I don't know what their YouTube handles are. You know, because some people out there don't have channels. They just lurk. And some of them post under fake names and will say some pretty messed up stuff. So, you know, once in a while, as I find someone out what their handle is, I shadow ban them. So I want the vibe to remain good here. We can criticize. You can criticize me, hold me to task for anything that I say that might be messed up, or you agree, disagree. But that toxic crap, not welcome over here. So, yes, SoFly, that is kind of Godfather style. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it, but I do get I do laugh a little bit. I mean, there's one guy, I mean, I'd love to out him. And let me make this clear. It's not anybody I ever did shows with. Know a lot of you know him, though. And I'd say maybe 3 weeks ago, he wrote a paragraph about this big and just put me down like you wouldn't believe and talked about this and this and that. And I read it, and I was pretty damn impressed. Like, he totally ripped me a new asshole. And then I just started laughing. I'm like, nobody sees it except for him. So he must sit back and think, oh, man, I got to him this time. But meanwhile, he's been shadow banned since, I think, October of last year. So sucks that you have to do that with grown people. But it is what it is. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble, everyone. Let me get out of here. I definitely don't want this to hit 3 hours. So if you're around Sunday night, right after NXT TakeOver in your house, feel free to join me. We will get into the matches. We'll see how my predictions are. I think it's going to be one of the most predictable events as far as outcomes go. I think the only match that I think there really is not a clear-cut winner is Cameron Grimes versus LA Knight. I think that's the only one. I don't think there's any chance of any of the other titles changing hands. I don't think Karrion Kross is losing that belt. I don't think Raquel Gonzalez is. I certainly don't think Bronson Reed is. And since he's going to be on the team with MSK, either all the belts change hands or none of the belts change hands. So I don't see any of those belts changing. But it'll still be a fun night nonetheless. And I don't expect Poppy to make an appearance again. I think that's something you probably would advertise. But I definitely expect to see some antics going on. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see Io Shirai back in action too. So, Near, I said it earlier, I am posting the members-only Q&A tomorrow. It's already recorded. It's already done. I just have to convert the file and post it online. So you will definitely see that tomorrow. But everyone, I thank you once again for an awesome night. Thank you for a fun week. It was just an excellent week. And again, if you want to socialize a little bit on Twitter, yes, I am now back on Twitter. We are going to ignore all the horrible noise out there and just the family. We talk together. And at Don Tony D. So if you want me to follow you as well, just reach out to me and I will be more than happy to do so. So I went from following 120 people last Saturday to now, I think today I broke 1,000 following people because somebody really set me straight a little bit about Twitter. Told me, just focus on the people that you get along with and fuck everybody else. So that's what I'll do. Everyone have a great night. And yes, I get the privilege and opportunity one more time that, hey, it's my favorite outro. I know some of you like it too. And anytime I could pay a little tribute to my favorite movie of all time, my favorite pet of all time, and also, a little character I played on the indie wrestling scene. You're damn right I'm going to close out my shows with this. So thank you, everybody. Much love. I see you. Before I go, I'd be really disrespectful. SRH John 07. He's at work. Just took his break, having a beer. Cheers to me. Just hopped on to say what's up and hope I'm doing well. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Last Saturday the news was not fun. But, whatever we got to do, we get through, So I had a pretty good week with all of you here, and it was a lot of fun. Dynamite tonight, better than the last 2-3 weeks, I think. SmackDown, beginning was awesome. End was awesome. NXT this week was decent. Raw, how I felt Monday. A lot of people disagreed with me. And that's cool, man. That's why I love doing the shows with Mish on Monday. Because we can disagree. He holds his own. He takes a side and he stands by it. He doesn't back down. And we could get heated, and at the end of the day, nothing personal. And, we are still buddies and we can have a beer after. That is a lost art in 2021, not just in podcasting, but just in general conversation. It's not easy to have a total disagreement with someone, no matter what the topic is, and people end up taking it personal. They get angry, they fight. We can have some pretty wild discussions, and at the end of the day, everybody gets along, and that makes some of the most fun content. But we'll see. We'll see what the next debate and discussion is. So I have a feeling I know what it's going to be. But, once the news breaks, you should hear about something pretty big by the middle of next week. I don't want to say what it is, but if this news breaks by the middle of next week, then I wouldn't be surprised if Mish and I actually do another impromptu, unexpected episode. So we'll see. I'll leave you with that. I know it's a little bit of a teaser, but good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.